Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures mostly lower to kick off the new trading week once again. For Monday, we're seeing a little bit of negative pressure after what we saw on Friday. Both the Dow and the S&P back higher to end the week. If you remember, with the NASDAQ slightly lower, we did have the Dow actually in record territory following that jobs number on Friday. That came out better than expected, much better than expected. In fact, 943,000 versus 845,000 expected. Markets will also be monitoring any developments coming out of Washington as far as the infrastructure deal is concerned. Senators back to work on Sunday, yesterday, trying to get this deal wrapped up. Looks like it will move forward to the House probably within or into September. So we'll keep an eye on developments on that front. The 10-year this morning back to the upside as well, 1.28%. We got as high as 1.3% back on Friday following that jobs number. It's all about crypto stocks this morning. Big move for Bitcoin back in positive territory through 45,000. We'll talk about some crypto stocks. Robinhood shares very active here in the pre-market as well. And deal making on the DraftKings front, picking up golden nuggets. So we'll talk about DKNG trading in negative territory. It's Monday, August 9th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Look at how things stand at this point. You can see slightly negative right now for the S&P and the Dow, 0.3% leading the way. The NASDAQ back in positive territory, 0.4%, I should say, for TSX futures here in Toronto. Another big move for crude oil to the downside, about 4% already in negative territory. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum up 7%. So nice move so far for cryptocurrencies. Guys, good morning. It is Monday. A busy one around here. We had some minor technical issues that are still being worked on in the background, guys, but we'll get you through the pre-market here. About an hour to go before we get markets open, but lots to look at, guys. We have crypto back to the upside in a big way. All things crypto related as far as stocks concerned in positive territory, and this DraftKings news as well this morning.
Yeah, just hitting the wire. DraftKings, their golden nugget, big news, of course. And no one would have known anything unless you said it there, Brennan. But yeah, it's been a busy morning, Monday morning as well. I'm happy because the Jays walked it off while I was there, and the Olympics are coming to a conclusion. But earnings season is winding down. There's a few names that we're going to get to throughout this week. By the end of the week, we got some interesting, obviously anticipated inflation numbers that'll come out that the market's going to be waiting for. But you got to trade what's moving today. And today, it's all the moves in crypto. So whether it's all the equities, we can go back and look at some Coinbase as well. You're seeing Robinhood again. It's actually moving in the pre-market here. It's up about 5 or 6%, making another run at its high. So some of the usual suspects from last week will be top of the list for us. And then you can't get away from some of the crypto equities. I know they're moving a heck of a lot. A lot of you guys are trading them, so we'll be watching them for sure, John.
Yeah, here's Bitcoin going from 43. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's Monday. We did have a little problem with some of the computers around here, so we will be delayed on the watch list. Hopefully, we'll be able to get something out to you. 46,000 here coming out right now for Bitcoin. So that's a big move there for BTC. And then, of course, Ethereum. We touched on that a little bit, but 31.5. Wow. That's bouncing around. And then Cardano's not doing too much, 146. Here, so we'll see where that's coming from a dollar. Not too many red days there in the last little while. So yeah, it's exciting. I'm looking at Robinhood. We love some Coinbase. Palantir earnings coming on the 12th, so we'll be looking at that as well. And then DraftKings now up almost 4% off that deal I talked about. Well, I didn't talk about it, but I did put it on the sticky note here. You can find it at Trader TV Live. Sean on Twitter and at Trader TV. I tagged him as well, but nice little move up 4%. I think it's a good one, man. It's GNOG is who they're buying, so that's a golden nugget online gaming. And you can see this all stock deal. So this is starting to rocket up as well from 12 to 19, 1.56 billion. Look, it just gives DraftKings more gambling options, right? So more users, more options. Now they'll tap into Golden Nugget online gaming, which I've never played, but apparently is really top notch. So good for DraftKings. I'm really happy. I actually haven't gotten any out, so this may be a good opportunity.
All right, guys, we'll touch on some crypto stocks here. I wanted to mention that Cation Auto as well. We mentioned back on Friday, big move higher on Friday, down about 10%, it looks like here, or 15% at this point for KXIN, little Chinese stock. If you remember, they announced on Friday they're getting into the EV space. So big move back to the downside. Before we go any further, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Hi guys, welcome back everyone. I wish you a wonderful, profitable start of this week. Please make sure to like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. It is going to be an interesting one as far as what to look at this morning. We talked a little bit at the end of last week about how earnings kind of done for this reporting season. Yes, there are a few that will be coming out over the next couple of days, but we have to kind of shift our focus once again back towards what is moving, and it's all about cryptocurrencies this morning. I want to start things off though with this DraftKings. Sean, maybe talk a little bit about the idea of at trade here. Is it at trade today for DKNG, or maybe a better one on the Golden Nugget side?
I think it's similar to what we saw with Penn last week, and when they bought Score Media there and gaming. So, they're just expanding sort of their library. Again, it just goes to me that they broke out already. So breaking past this 51 area here on DraftKings makes sense. Now you're starting to hit to the high side there. We did touch as high as 55 there on Thursday, Friday last week. So we still have room to go to get to that number. DraftKings always does fade out a little bit throughout the day from what I've been able to see here. We got 55 in the pre-market there on Friday, and then look, all the way back down to 50. Like, that's a 10% move there in 2 hours. So from the high of at 9 o'clock of $55 all the way down to $50 by 11 o'clock. So 2 hours, this company gave up 10% there, okay? And then it battled back a little bit, touched 52, ended at 51, and then today they come in and make this purchase. So I don't know too much. Like I said, I don't know too much about the Golden Nugget valuation there. But if we look at GNOG, there it is here, and see a daily chart for them, you'll see what I'm talking about. We did come from a nice spot high there. So, they may have gotten a decent deal here. The fact that they bought it while it was at its lows, I think that could be something as well. It's relatively new name here, GNOG. So new to the world, came out 1950 there. I have a longer, our charts aren't going back that far. This is a longer period here. So again, it looks like to me that they may have, so it looks like it might have been a SPAC, came out here, $14, $15. So I think they probably got it at a decent valuation. They didn't pay up too much, very similar to the score there. So they're up here at about 19 right now. So we'll see where it goes. But for me, I always like the acquirer as a little bit of a better trade. So DKNG, we can watch them today. And I like it. I think you got to get to that 55 area. That's why I didn't really put any levels up on the chart. But hey, if we could take out this 54 when we open up, then I think that's going to be a long. And look, they're just adding to their portfolio. So as a shareholder, I don't mind it. They're diluting shares, obviously, the value of their company. But you're still up that 3%, so the market must like it, Neil.
Yeah, it's definitely, and we saw what happened with recent deals where you see the acquiring company sometimes go up. You expect it with an all cash deal, sometimes they'll go down. But we're talking about 1.5 billion into DraftKings is north of 20 market cap. It changed rapidly on Friday, as Sean pointed out. But yeah, so still probably north of that 20 mark. So it's not a gigantic amount here. And that's why I kind of believe, look, I'm not saying it's going to sell off again, but you get a spike like that into 55 and another one here. You got to feel like if the market wanted to buy it up at that 50 mark and then get it halfway back to 52.50, let's see if we can split the difference. I'm looking 51 to 51.50 on a dip buy. I kind of have always put the notion on that if it's an all-stock transaction in a company that generally I like, or is at least relatively liked, then you look for that buying of the dip in the morning. So I don't want to go too far away from that notion. I'm looking 51 to 51.50. A lot of times breakouts, pretty rare in this particular situation with an all-stock deal. But given what we saw last week, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised if we are taking out that 55. I mean, DraftKings has been waiting to make a move for quite some time. I like it just as well as you do, Sean. I'm now going to be into. You talked about that Score Media deal. I'm now going to be in Penn Gaming for the first time, so I'll have both of them because that was a cash in stock deal. So if you own Score, you end up with some Penn shares.
All right, let's bring in Mark Roberts here, president of Sun Lake Strategies, and pick his brain a little bit. Brand new week and brand new trading session here. Mark, an interesting one as far as the overall market is concerned. I want to get your thoughts here first on they were working in Washington over the weekend trying to get this infrastructure deal done. Finally, it looks like it will move through to the House probably into September. Positive overall here?
Oh, I think so. I think they had to show the constituents when they go back home to start to campaign that they've gotten something done. Let both sides take credit. It's important to get something done. Mr. Biden has a lot of issues going forward in his climate approach, whether or not he can get actual things done or not, but infrastructure is a great start.
And where do we look here then for opportunities as far as what could benefit from this news, maybe going into the latter part of August and into September? What's going to be kind of top of the list for you?
Anybody that's coming out with a statement they have to raise prices, and just about everybody is raising prices. So the question's going to be, inflation to me is not transitory. It's here to stay, whether it's used cars, rents that people pay, or whatnot. So I'm still in the food inflation space, which is bode well for me so far. And I'm going to start moving down the chain, looking for other areas that have been able to raise prices.
As far as that kind of theme goes, as far as the market is concerned, is that enough to continue the momentum, continue this slow grind that we've had over the past few weeks to record highs? With the Dow at record highs once again back on Friday. I mean, we're negative, but only just here to start off the new week.
Yeah, the problem is you have so many issues going on. You have three major banks cutting Chinese growth. You have China now having more problems with the virus. I don't know how much they're admitting and how much they're not admitting, but they're testing millions of people. We're having the same issues here with the vaccine and those that are unvaccinated, and then move that down the food chain to whether it's tech is strong enough to hold on while energy and financials may weaken depending on the dollar and rates. But right now, inflation is on one end and slow of growth is on the other. It's a bad mixture at the moment.
We got your take on Friday, Mark, on that jobs number that was definitely much better than expected. I think than anyone really expected. We did see a little bit of follow through initially, but it was a bit of a lackluster end to the session and to the week. Was that more a midsummer type of thing, or should we see a little bit more follow through as far as that positivity is concerned?
I think the positivity was mostly due to government jobs. I think the number was lackluster. I think that I wouldn't put a lot of credence into it because you're in a reopening phase that's now going to start to slow down because of the virus. And you also have the dramatics involved with, will you show a vaccine card or not to get into venues? And if you don't, that's going to be an interesting thing toward expansion and growth.
There's a lot of individual stocks making moves this morning. Give us your take on which area maybe you're focused on mostly as we head into a brand new week here into August.
I'm looking for the consumer discretionary names like Lulu, Nike to fill back. I'm looking at some of the industrials, how will they hold up with lower oil prices, and the technology stocks have done well, but you got major hits in gaming, ATVI, EA, and the like. You had major hits in some of the healthcare stocks last week. I want to see if they can hold and recover. But right now, I'm taking profits where I can, and I'm sitting in the highest cash I've been in 2 years.
Good. Yeah. Hi, Mark. We talked about sitting in cash a little bit last week, so it's good to hear that you're in there. And I'm going to give you full credit for ACI. I mean, how many days were you chanting Albertsons to us all and talked about food inflation and everything? And I believe that you were talking about it around here, 21, 20, 20, 50 and so congratulations. Oh, our stream deck isn't working. All right, hit a big confetti. So a nice move for you today. Today looks like we'll open a little down on this. Obviously, it's very, very light volume, so we're not worried about that, but a nice breakout there on ACI. So thank you for doing all the hard work on that one. I think we were getting a breakout also, and you picked Walmart last out of Target, Walmart, and I found we had another one in there that we were just Costco. Look at this, better memory than I, that's for sure. Costco, but I still think Walmart's breaking out as well. But a good call. I was at Costco on Friday. I looked down, and $600 later we cashed out. So I think that Costco, and it's true. I mean, we got snowsuits for the kids. Like, it's August, and we're buying snowsuits. So, anyways, Costco, yeah, wow, what a monster. Still all the way to the upside. So good, great call on all that retail. I did want to talk quickly about CLF. So not Cliff, sorry, the oil. So light crude right now. And I don't know what your thoughts are. We haven't talked about too much about oil recently, but finally here, after just a monster run up that oil's had. I mean, back to December, or I guess November lows of kind of $35. We made a nice base there. We doubled that to 75 recently, and now it looks like we're starting to come back in just a little bit here over the last couple of weeks, down from 75, bouncing near the 60-65 area. Do you have any feels here on what's happening? I think the Saudis are going to turn the spigot back on here, and you do see oil coming to the downside. Are there any plays regarding that? XOM, Chevron, any thoughts on the oil industry?
Yeah, I'm looking more at Royal Dutch, RDS.
Yep.
That seemed like an interesting stock to start to look at the underlying numbers. Crude probably will work its way down. Oh, I don't know if it gets all the way down to 59, which is the 200-day moving average. But somewhere in that, we'll call it 62, 67 area, that's going to be my trading range. This is all off of the Chinese potentially lower growth, but you know the Chinese well enough to know that when they feel comfortable, they'll turn the spigot back on.
Right.
And no pun intended, but I'm looking at the dips as a buy, not the rallies for sales.
So RDS.A there, Royal Dutch Shell, I guess, is what we're talking about for that play, and that's kind of right in the middle. I've been holding a put on XOM since about 63. Hold on a second, I got to call this up here. About $63 or so. So I think that has been a good one. Major oil companies, I believe. Oh, come on, charts. We were having a hell of a time here with the technology today in the last couple of days. So I don't know what's going on. But I don't really like XOM here. I think that was well overdone a little bit to the upside there, Mark. And I don't mind that. What about a BP or anything like that? I mean, this continues to be a big mover as well, and maybe they're even off. I guess not more. But Royal Dutch is there. You talked about with the Chinese coming back in. So I like some of these names, some of the producers there. We'll see where they go. About the Chinese names, are you ready yet to invest in any of these, or are we staying away from everything? Like, I mean, Alibaba has its moves up to 202 there a couple times. I'm in this name, but I'm in a while ago. I recently bought at 183, so I think that was pretty good. But we keep on having some problems here with 203. What is a sign, if any, for an all clear? Because I know you probably don't have it yet. Is there something you're looking at before you nibble, or is this just a stay away because there's so many other sectors that we should be in?
This is a pure trading stock for now, whether it's daily, whether it's a swing trade. Look for the clusters, buy a small position at the cluster. When they start to lift, add to your position, but trade it close to the vest. I'm not a believer yet. that we've seen bottoms in these stocks. I think the Chinese are going to be going through A, growth problems, B, if you will, the rhetoric that's going on internally with them, and then their international messaging is not clear either. So to me, they're a neutral, but they're day trades.
Yeah, talk about message not clear. I think I'm hearing that all clear. You know, they kidnapped Jack Ma, and now there's all this other stuff happening. Obviously, Jack Ma is now found. But yeah, the Chinese just crazy with DD, what's been happening. And now the U.S. government coming in and putting in some restrictions on IPOs, right? So maybe we don't get too many more Chinese IPOs. But you know what? If the market's got 99 problems, you know what sector's not one of them? The banking sector, Mark, because right now Goldman Sachs busting up to 400 today. We may get that 400 break finally coming through on Goldman Sachs. And I mean, what a ridiculous run for this sector. Goldman Sachs has doubled in 10 months. So I can't believe we're actually even saying that, but that's an incredible move back up. You're talking about like pre-pandemic, we were at 240, 250. Okay, so now you're at $400 on Goldman Sachs. Are we a little too frothy here? We just getting started? Because I'm hearing a lot of people that are still putting money into this sector.
I don't think you're frothy at all. As I said weeks and weeks ago, higher interest rates are very bullish for the economy.
Yep.
Of course, the problem was how deep is the COVID problem on the other side? But if we can either get to herd immunity, get more people vaccinated, do the booster shot, which will be definitely implemented in the next few weeks. I think we're okay on reopening. It just gets slightly delayed. I don't think you're going to see any lockdowns. And for that reason, higher rates equal buybacks.
Right, and you got Morgan Stanley even busting out through the $100 mark rate.
And Wells Fargo, WFC.
Oh yeah, WFC's been a beast because that was so depressed down there, from $20 up to $50. Wow, there's a lot happening in this space for sure. One more name before I let you go, because hey, why not? You're the stock father, so let's give us one more here. I want to look at Carnival or Space here. Pick your RCL, CCL. I know we can even talk for now. Yeah, this chart's not loading up either. But Carnival right there on the daily chart did have a dip down. We had a great run up to 31. Now a fall back to 21, 22. Are we looking at Carnival, RCL, Norwegian, anything like this, or you want to stick with LUV and the likes?
I prefer the airlines because you can't get a seat on an airline and prices are going up. So that's a good situation. The bad situation for the airlines is jet fuel is exploded in price, no pun intended. And also there is a shortage of air pilots.
Right.
On the other side, the cruise lines are going to come back. They'll figure out a way. So on any dip with, let's say, CCL back into that 20-ish area, you buy it and you trade it. These are trading stocks for the time being.
Yep, I agree 100%. You got to have some money in some of these random sectors so you can play this reopen for now, and hopefully the Delta can figure itself out. Who knows? But okay, thank you, Mark Roberts, Sun Lake Strategies. Once again, always a pleasure, and thank you for the great insight and a great call. We'll have to call it like we see it on ACI. So thanks for that. That was a fantastic call. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Ciao.
All right, guys, few analyst moves to pass along for you on a Monday. Notable at that, there's AMD, top of the list so far this morning to the upside. Tesla here, Brookfield and Corteva. GM getting a price target cut from Jefferies today to the downside, and Wynn down here notable as well in that same space, guys, to the downside.
AMC basically, I mean, it's flat on the session, but it is worth noting like where it's coming into from that meteoric, whatever you want to call it, a bit massive rise up. We'll use the word massive. Break that 120. Then you get a couple of days of pulling back in here, right into what's going to kind of stand out like a sore thumb. Some lower highs that are worth looking at here at that 109.60 and then down to like a 107.20, let's call it. So that's kind of a cluster range of support, which looks pretty good. If it bounces off there again, I think fantastic. I was going to look at 109.50, but then I kind of looked back into the day that we actually had that break, and then you had 2 days in a row of the same level. You get resistance here, 107.25. You get support on the way up, and then you get support the following day on the way to that 2-day rise over 120. So I'd look for that as sort of a cluster area. It can break 109.50 here and still be good. $2 lower than that on AMD, so catch the upgrade today, and fantastic. Someone did ask, and they're like, crypto's up. Any is crypto related, so why are you shorting it? So I just want to quickly get into this one. I'm in it in the pre-market. We traded this one on Friday. It was a reversal play as well. Like, it actually was gapping up and then sold off. But you are seeing like spot basically hanging around like 46 and consolidating lower than that 46,000. Meanwhile, you're doing sort of the patented make a top, consolidate lower twice. So I mean, it's a risk reward kind of idea. Like, you basically go with the same levels here, and I'm shorting like that 580-ish area. If it breaks back up above like 90 or so, you have a really tight stop in it out. If we take out the low, you do have some runway to the bottom. So it's a pattern that worked before, and as long as we're not exploding to the upside on Bitcoin, which right now we're not, we're hanging out at the top, and I think it feels pretty safe. So I have a stop above that 590. I'll go manual because I'm only in one position, and then I'm just watching spot price just to make sure things don't get out of hand.
All right, yeah, go ahead. I mean, yeah, I was going to talk about Robinhood, but let's start on the watch list there, Brendan.
Yeah, definitely on the watch list, guys. We are going to have a little bit of an abbreviated one today because of some technical issues. If you're just joining us, we apologize. Not as many names as normal because our internet was down for most of the pre-market. I just saw this BTCM pop up as well, another Bitcoin-related stock, up about 30% in the pre-market here. But if you do need the link to the watch list, Miss V will help you out in the chat with that. Let's jump into what is moving around, guys. The most obvious group so far this morning, anything crypto related. I mean, you can have a look at Mara, Riot. I mean, any of these going to be up significantly here along with Bitcoin, including Coinbase. Guys, we haven't looked at Coinbase for a few days, also getting a nice little bump on this.
I got Coinbase on the watch list today for me because of just kind of the damage that it's been doing. It's starting to break out finally, which is really, really nice. And this is what I'm talking about. Just breaking out through this 260. So if we zoom in just a little bit more here, again, it's on the sticky note there at the very bottom, Coinbase. So I just feel like we finally took this out, and then now we get to open up a little bit higher. Obviously, as crypto starts going back up, you're hearing it more on the mainstream media one more time, and it looks like we're starting to. I mean, I'll keep showing it to you. It's a 15-minute chart, so we're not going to talk about like the moves in crypto, but from 43 to 46, so you got almost 10% there overnight. So that's a big move there for crypto. I was looking to get more money in at any time, but I'm almost fully in crypto now. But we did sell some out and didn't really get as much back in. So I think that's going to be a lot of FOMO for a lot of traders trying to maybe buy some of these high highs. And when that starts to happen, then you're going to get more and more names and more traders looking at a Coinbase. And so there it goes. I mean, we saw when Coinbase IPO'd, this was Bitcoin like 65,000, and then it came right to the downside. So if you are a bull for Bitcoin or Dogecoin or anything like that, which is going to lead me over to when we discuss Robinhood in a minute, but Coinbase, you see, already touched that 270, which we hadn't been at in forever. I mean, these are new levels now, and that's why I think we're breaking out. Like, we haven't seen these since May here. So if you missed the Coinbase trade, I don't think it's too late. 163,000 shares, not a horrible spread. And if you're looking to do anything, I think this 270 that we take out here could be something to watch. But you're always going to have to keep your eye on crypto. So I like this 270 break, and I probably will have it.
Yeah, actually, when we talk about, I talked about a dip on that ANY, and I think as long as we're hanging around that 46, I think we could see any kind of some kind of a pullback. Anytime you have like a key price area or cluster like this, which isn't breaking on the spot, I kind of want to favor into, okay, well, there's a bit of a dip. And I've had that, I've had this work in Coinbase before. I'm looking back to like this 257 is the hard support. So I'm looking more at this peak. If you go to Friday's action, morning peak at 260, and then in the afternoon you had 260 as a lower high as well. So I'll go to those two lower highs, kind of like the shoulders of that head and shoulders, which we're breaking out from. And then say if we get anywhere near that, I want to defend that particular level there, guys. So, I mean, Coinbase, I'll be patient with it for the dip 5. I'm with Sean. We've been waiting for that thing to break out. and it's finally doing so. The next stop, because the key is once we took out that 250, right? So at this point, like the real big level is going to be when it was all over this 300 to 305 range, and it tried it several times here, breaking down, then holding. So you kind of make that next move up. There's clear runways up there as long as you don't get any kind of like monster retracement. Like if we go back to that 38,000, 42,000 level, obviously you're not going to continue this breakout. But if we hang out at 45, I think no reason why Coinbase isn't eventually getting to that 300 mark. And it's not on our watch list, but it's actually worth saying because the AMC does report. But it actually just made a bit of a move here in the pre-market, just pushing up bottom to top. This is a hard 33 top that it's put in, and then randomly at 32 because why not even dollars? But bracing towards the high. It is worth noting. Oh, why is it not? Let me pull back. There we go. Worth noting that this was kind of like a failed break at 33 in the afternoon on Friday. So I don't love the breakout. I know they're going into earnings after market. I feel like it might be one of those like it tries to run up here, and then there could be a bit of a fade. So I'll look to see if that 33 isn't a failed break off of the open. But AMC actually moving around a little bit this morning.
Let's bring in Arun here, get a check of the overall market. Before we go any further, we are trying to get back to positive territory here. It has been a bit of a struggle so far. Arun, what are you looking at today?
Yeah, the market's just gone sideways. Ever since we broke that 44.25, we had a chance to keep going, but it seems like we're running into some volume around 44.30. So we saw that fall back in the afternoon on Friday. We did recover somewhat by the time we closed the futures contract at 4.15. But here we are back again, trying to take a shot at those 44.30s again. If we can get above 44.35, I think you might actually have a chance for an expansion. But I'm a little worried about how much volume there really is above there, because once you clear the hurdle of 44.25, you're expecting clear sailing after that. So the fact that there's volume coming in just above that price point tells me that maybe that level may have shifted slightly higher. So I want to make sure that that level or that sell zone that's been in play for months now, well, actually that's a lie, that's not a month, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, is actually gone. So 44.35 is a break point for me. If we can get above there, I'm going to look for the expansion long. If we do fall back though, if we can get below 44.10, we do have some support down at 43.90. So anything below 44.10, I'm looking to find some buys there if we can't find a support and get a long setup. 43.90 is the bottom, 44.35 is the top. A breakout through either end works for the expansion. If you can get 44.10s and below, you got longs. For now, I'm going to say no to the shorts because we do have some strength going into the open. It seems like at least as of 9 o'clock, it does look like we're getting some strength here. So I'm going to let this market go. If it does slow down though, between 25 and 35, then, and it sets up to, then maybe shorts might be in play. It might be a low risk short, risking less than 10 points, 44.35 stop, looking for a move back down to the 44.10s. Just understand, when you have 2 levels to work with, you have 4 trades that you can do, right? You have 2 trades where you can work in front of the level, 2 trades that the levels break, looking for the expansion, and those are the trades I just explained. For now, though, just be patient, see how the market opens up, and we'll go from there after the open.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's continue along, guys, with what is moving around here in the pre-market. We'll have a look at Robinhood. Very busy back on Friday, or very positive, I should say, back on Friday. We're up about 3% to end the week after the 2-day tumble. Prior to that, on Thursday, it was down about 26%. So a nice little bump here once again this morning for Robinhood, 5.5%. You remember this initial strength that we saw early on back on Friday.
I think we want to talk about Robinhood because I was just checking up the price of Dogecoin because Dogecoin was 37% of Robinhood's revenues there from the crypto side of things. So Dogecoin up 8% again today. So that's starting to run a little bit. And I think that crypto plays a huge, just like in Coinbase, I almost think I could just say the exact same stuff again, that the more crypto starts to go, the more Coinbase and Hood and Robinhood like it. Because again, lots of app usage here for Robinhood. And the more that crypto starts to run, the better I think it is for Coinbase and Robinhood. And although, we just had its birthday down here at $34, you make that crazy move just a couple days ago up to 80. We did actually talk about why that was going to happen. There was no love behind 38 for that thing, and it just ripped up and no stopping. So right now we'll check it out. But if you look at Hood here for a 20-minute chart, give us a little bit better idea on levels here. So let's call this out just a little bit. I'm looking at this 60 level right now today. There's not much else. I mean, we're bouncing right around right where we were all Friday. Friday was crazy off the open. You had a couple of candles back and forth there that were rough for us off the open. But then it kind of settled down, making this high of 58, 59, and then kind of crashing at the end of the day down to 54 there. So I think Robinhood does have some opportunities here. Good volume in the pre-market here so far today, 1.5 million shares. So I'm looking forward to take out that 60 that we just talked about on the 20-minute chart. And then I also wrote down on here, maybe we got to short this 57 if it does break below. So they have some 57 issues, which is all this garbage up here. It broke back to the downside, and then we never saw it again. So I'm looking at a 57 short, but again, I do think there is some talk here with crypto, which makes sense. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I'm looking for 60 long, 57 short. Would rather it open in this area and then play momentum.
The one thing I'm remembering about that 60 was the third time through when we were trading this one on Friday. And look, the 57 breakdown, I love that.
Oh, no.
I kind of had that one written down as well. And I think, look, it's sort of going to stand out a little bit, but that 61, why can I not? That's kind of interesting. I can't pull this to move it farther. But anyways, that 60 level when it broke, it got to like 60, 50 and then failed hard. And I remember looking back and the 59 short was really good in the morning, so right away. And then the second time we tested it, it spiked up, broke that 60, was a fail break to 60 and a half. So I'm kind of looking at that 61 level for a full breakout. I think 59 might give you something because that was that level that we actually successfully shorted the first time through. By the way, that just ran the stop on that ANY. It goes up to like 95 and then sort of comes right back. So I might get back into this one, but I think I'm going to back off until things calm down because basically there was a bit of a liquidity vacuum between like 88 and like 92. Anyways, Robinhood, I'll go with the breakdown. What I will say is this: if it pops in and I take a short off of that 61 level, no matter what, it's going to be like a one and done type of trade, and I will let it settle down. Like if the short loses ever on Robinhood for me initially, I kind of want to just like back off, be very, very patient with it. Probably jumped in too quickly last time, getting it like 3 or 4 times before it was even like 9.45, and that was part of the mistake as well. So, I like the 57. I had that one written down. I'm going 61 instead of that 60. So I'm looking for a similar move that happened in the morning on Friday, and then hopefully extends like a little bit further, and then I would jump into it. As far as like real support goes and buying dips, I'm probably not going to be thinking about a dip buy unless you're talking evens, like 50 evens.
All right, Workhorse, guys, just reporting here. Looks like 9 o'clock, actually. They just releasing their numbers for the quarter. So it's obviously not great because a bit of a spike to the downside here through $10 there for Workhorse, down 5.5%. We'll double check that. Just noticed a couple of downgrades and price target cuts in the cannabis sector as well. Speaking of earnings that we had over the past couple of weeks from them. So some of the cannabis names in negative territory to start things off here this morning as well. Sean, you want to have a look at Workhorse there?
Yeah, I was just going to look at Workhorse. I mean, we put on the sticky note here. I mean, it's an obvious level, so it's not rocket science, but there it was right there. The 10-10 break, short it. I mean, but it doesn't matter. We didn't hit it there. Wasn't aware. I mean, was aware that it was earnings, and we're just waiting for them. They came through, and I didn't have the order out. I was sort of hoping that we may stay up here, and then we'd be able to hit this on the open. But there it is if you did take it. And again, our stream decks also aren't working, so like I'm hitting the punch thing. Won't work. But 10-10 to the downside was a great little call there if you're able to get it in the pre-market. But remember, this is a very, very highly shorted name. It's in the 30% area, so I did put that on the note as well. You could get some explosions. Again, I don't know the numbers yet, so I don't think any of us do. So we'll wait to see when those come out exactly, and then we'll just.
What the? What was that?
Oh, that was you. Okay. All right. So they have access over there. So yeah. Okay. Anyways, the point is that eventually, at some point, this is going to pop because of the short interest, but right now the shorts are winning on this trade down to 950. There's really no levels down here that we can really work off of. I mean, I think you just got to wait for it, see how it trades out. But Workhorse looks like it's going to disappoint one more time. And I've said already, I don't want to have anything to do with any of these EV names right now. Literally none of them. Like maybe Jinko Solar, names that are not in the car space. Like Tesla wins because it's Tesla, and they have so many other things going with the solar situation as well. So I like Tesla, what they're doing. But honestly, man, for a lot of these names, I mean, look at Fisker as well. That's getting pumped. I'm not in that name anymore, so we're out of that. Blink Charging, Plug Power, some of those names are interesting to me because they're not on the making of the car side. But right now, yeah, it's pretty ugly. And then Workhorse, don't have too much opinion on it other than it is heavily shorted, so we're gonna have to watch out for that.
Yeah, if it gets going, that's the thing. Like, if it starts to reverse, you got to be aware of the massive short interest, and don't dig in too much. But on weakness, I mean, I'm not saying we get to all-time lows. That's going to be 7 even. You do have a bit of a cluster. I should always point here. We'll zoom in a little bit. You do have like a couple of clusters in these price ranges where like maybe it'll find a little support around 9 to 915. But that's the first level to like certainly test. And if it gets down there and we're looking at a potential 9 break, I mean, why not? We're not going to get that 10-10. And we talked about this one on Friday when we knew this was coming up. And that was just like, you probably were never going to get a chance to trade that one given the time that they report. But if it pops back up, that's probably the first level that I take for a fade. And if it breaks that one, I'd be very patiently waiting for it to get closer to the $11 range before I would jump in front of that one, because you know what can happen when these squeeze plays go. But until it's basically the short until it's not, and the not first level will be 10-10.
All right, a few numbers to pass along on that report, guys. Q2 net loss, $43.6 million. That compared to 131.3 million year over year. Revenue, 1.2 million, which missed by about 4.2. They actually delivered apparently 14 trucks in the quarter. That's versus 1 in the same period last year. So not good overall for Workhorse, to be expected, I presume. DraftKings, let's move on to DKNG, announcing a $1.56 billion all-stock deal for Golden Nugget this morning, which is moving DraftKings here, guys. Nice positive move so far for DKNG.
Yeah. Again, we talked about it a little bit in the pre-market here. I think it's pretty good for DKNG. We did take a small trade here, breaking through 54 on the top side, just in case. We looked at why we liked that level, and it was right here. Here's a 20 period. We did get as high as, I told you, we got as high as $55, and then we fell that 10% right off the open, like 10% down right away on Friday, right? So could we see the same thing again? Maybe. And if we do, then I'm going to be out right here at this 52.50 level. So I'm not going to let this go 10%. Obviously, it's going to go, I guess, a couple percentage points against me if I am going to be getting out of this. But I like DraftKings here for a few reasons. Whoop, there we go. We just got another bid down there. So we're averaging in. I told you we're going to get out 52.50 if it does break. I like DraftKings for a few reasons. A, because we're above the 50-period moving average right there. Penn had good numbers. DraftKings as well. So I don't have a problem with anything that they're doing here. I just, it's been a tough trade. So I think anything back to 50 is going to be worth a buy in this area here. Football season's coming up. Baseball playoffs are coming up. Olympics is over. I don't think that was really a big gambling thing there either. But it looks like they're starting to hold up. So if you're going to be in anything, I mean, there's always a chance. You do sort of have that Kathy Wood call option as well at any time. She could come in and start to buy up some of these names. Again, it's a new technology. It's a new name. First mover advantage, DraftKings and Penn. So I like both of them. But unfortunately, we saw what happened on DraftKings early last time, and it might happen again. So I won't lose a ton of money on this, but 52.50 is an area, that I'm going to be holding on to. So 52.50, hopefully that doesn't crack. I'm going to be long one more time in front of there, and then we'll see where we go. But yeah, I mean, I'm out of the money 30 cents here and talking like this is the end of the world, but we are just into this consolidation spot here. And then, of course, we know they're buying GNOG, which comes through, and this is Golden Nugget Online Gaming, and they do pay a pretty premium for it, 48%. It makes me think that maybe they could have developed this themselves, but again, they're going to get some more customer base from this deal, and it's pretty new. So as far as me analyzing all the numbers, I haven't. But this was a $30 name not too long ago. $25 name not too long ago. So I think there is some opportunity here. Here it is for GNOG and for DraftKings.
Yeah, like if you know what, if DraftKings falls, I mean, I'm looking actually sub to even pick some up on the day trade in front of like 51.50. I got the chart of Penn here because obviously you guys know that they made that acquisition with the score. And what I was sort of getting at but didn't show you guys was, usually the acquire in a stock deal is going to head to the downside. It looked like that was going to be the case all pre-market. And then just one of the bigger and more impressive runs I've ever seen in an all-stock deal acquisition happened with Penn, and it's holding those gains as we speak. So when I fast forward over to DraftKings, and hopefully this is going to work for me here, fast forward to DraftKings, you see, wow, flipping super fast. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to have a good week here. When I flash over to DraftKings, I look at this first pullback cluster, and you look at Friday's action, front end of the range at 52.50, and then down towards that 51.50 close. That's where I'm sitting on the bid right now at both those levels, looking for that dip. Maybe it doesn't do it. Maybe it just breaks out through the top here. But I want to take a chance on that dip buy. Just given what I saw happen to Penn, it was just unreal. The strength that Penn showed, and this seems like just as good a deal from a. I mean, that's not essentially the same thing because one's obviously one's going to be casino play as opposed to Penn, which already has that aspect going into score. But if you really think about it, I think this is exactly where DraftKings needed to go, just based on the price action that we saw both on Friday in the pullback and then the price action we saw for Penn on Thursday. I'm going to go with buying into this dip a little bit deeper on DraftKings.
All right, let's talk about Tesla here. We had Tesla back above 700 pre-market after testing below it, if you remember, 2 times on Friday. It actually ended up closing back below that 700 level on decent volume. It's worth saying there was a bit of a sell-off there late in the day. But back to 710 here, guys. There was a couple of analyst moves to the upside on Tesla today, including Jefferies raising their price target to $850 now.
Our Cybertruck. Look, like Sean said, we don't have our stream deck, so I can't hit our Tesla animation there. See, it's on the reboot page or whatnot. But this is, I mean, Tesla basically it made that great break finally of that 700 level. So it broke that 636 we were talking about, and it finally took out that 700. You go into last week on Monday, gets up to the quarters. Holds, and then we show the weakness on Friday. But guess what? We're gapping back up here. So you look back and you say, okay, well, this was the resistance before the 700 break was at 698. That held support on Friday. So you got support 698 to 7, maybe like 701, 702 in that range to take a shot at dip buy. You don't want it to break 698. I think if it does, there's probably some runway to get back down on a deeper pullback. I'd look for what number. If you don't know what number below 698, then you haven't been watching the show very long. It might be the mark of the beast. But if we're going to get back up, we have to break 725. I think the middle of this is going to be choppy, obviously, between here and 725. So count me in for looking to hold the 698, 701, 702-ish area on any kind of a dip in Tesla. And I'll be patient this week looking for that 725 breakout when hopefully eventually it does come. It is worth noting when we did make the 700 move on last Monday, it did barely break past that 7/4 and then came right back in, and that was resistance all week long. So not going to play the middle, going to wait till we patiently get that 25 break, and Tesla usually rewards you for patience.
You guys saw there on the side shot, and then I put it in there. Randy is in the building now, handing out the Timbits. So thank you to Randy. And you might have heard me in the pre-market talk about going to Costco and dropping all that money. Well, I mean, here we go. I actually found some Post-it notes, and then check out that price, man. $8.99 there, so on sale. $11.99 now for $8.99. And of course, you know that I got to be sporting the hat when we go out. So there it is there. So if anybody following on Twitter, that was pretty fun. Some nice comments back and forth with that one. Tesla, let's just talk about NIO then quickly. NIO just went over some nice Tesla levels there, and I think they all make sense. And obviously, if you guys were there, you'll find out that was in the 3 o'clock. There, we got a hit. NIO coming to the downside. Look, it sells off every single morning. It seems like that. So down to 43 and change. We'll see where we go from here. But NIO, I think you got to buy any of these dips. What is the market's going to be flat today opening up? So anything back in here for NIO, I think needs to be bought. So let's just check out the imbalance locator here quickly. Pretty like blah today. WFC, I talked about that with Mark a little bit there. He liked RDS, so there's Royal Dutch Shell there. I called up A, you can look at B, doesn't matter. Coke, everything coming into play. What about EDU today? Not doing too much. Let's quickly check on DD before we go back. 200,000. So again, not a whole hell of a lot happening on DD, but some good names today that we're going to have on. Tesla's a good one as well. And then AMD, good thing we got some of that out there at 119 the other day. That may be the high for a while. But DraftKings, a nice little pickup on the downside again there. We didn't get more though because we were waiting for even lower. But we'll wait to see if DraftKings can battle back here into the close. We're long at 53.70. It's at 53.60 right now, so hopefully that can bump up and give us a little bit of a winner here on DraftKings.
We mentioned some of these crypto stocks moving around already, but let's talk about that NE, that 3D, Sphere 3D moving around once again this morning after popping up on Friday. If you remember, they announced they purchased the rights to a bunch of mining machines. So ANY, 8.3 million shares already here in the pre-market, heading back to the downside at this point though.
Yeah, I got punked. I was saying in the chat there, I got punked, and yeah, these guys always seem to catch me when I'm eating the Timbits because they're good at their jobs, and that's fine. There's nowhere for me to hide. Like you guys know the Timbits are here. I'm eating them. But I said I got my stop ran right here when we took out. This is like 9 o'clock or just after 9 o'clock, and it popped that 580 right into that cluster I was looking at. Like I basically told you guys when I got into position, it's like, yeah, I got it here. We're taking some out on the way down to that previous pre-market low, which was that 565. Now that we're now breaking below it. I am going to stay on the south side of this trade. I mean, I look over here and it's like still 45,000 that we're sitting at, but it's kind of like an ugly stop out. I hate that when it happens to you. But I told you guys my stop is there, so it got ran. There was a bit of a liquidity vacuum from like 88 to like 95. Like there wasn't a lot of shares up here, so kind of would have expected that there might have been some trade action, but not until that 95 level. If it does make a pop to the upside, we have 10 minutes until the open. I'm looking now back at that level. Like before, I would have said, when we're down here, I'd just do a 930 short at like maybe like 605 into like 625, not even like the 650 high of the day. At this point, I think that's right around that $6 mark. So in a pop, it's going to have to be 6. You had the key level at 565 that I was covering in front of. If it doesn't break that, you're probably falling all the way back to 5 to 510 on any. It's just at the end of the day, we saw crypto was basically Bitcoin was barcoding. And that's why I like that consolidation. But remember what happened to ANY in Friday's action. It just sold off all pre-market and then tried to rally, right? So a lower consolidation, tried to rally, spiked out at exactly one of these clusters. If you look at it, that same like 7 o'clock high ended up being the actual top at 565. So we wonder why 565 is going to be that support level here. Well, we just showed you. Sometimes these levels are going to make a difference. I won't take this one off of the 65 level with 9 minutes to go. I will look to see if I can get it at a better price at 6, but beggars can't always be choosers.
All right, let's talk AMC. Back on watch this morning. It has been pretty uneventful here in the pre-market, but doing some decent volume. We're kind of stuck within Friday afternoon's range. We put in a bit of a top about 33 throughout the midday on Friday. You can see we're kind of stuck in this range right now. Definite support below us, however, for AMC. Aftermarket tonight, AMC set to report.
Yes, sir. And we did mention like it just made a move off that 32 into 33, but like I said, it was the lower high in the afternoon, and it did break through 33, getting to like 33.15. So I kind of would want to look to see if there's a failed breakout at 33. I think that would be an actionable trade, maybe into the south side. If you're looking breakout, you're probably wanting to take it like 15s to 25s, I think would make a little bit more sense, just above that level, and then watch out. I mean, if you can't, you just watch out. 35 level is going to stand out like a sore thumb. I mean, you go into last week when it fell off a cliff at 35 and then tried to make a breakout, jailbreak, and then died at 35, and then we got up to like barely 35 on Friday, then fell off there again. That's why if you're taking any kind of a break at 33, you make your dollar, you make your $1.50, and anticipate that there's going to be a slowdown at that 35 level. That's why I'm starting out on the south side of the trade, thinking that those that aren't the diamond hands that are holding on forever might be looking to trim a little bit of profit off. It is worth saying, oops, I was going the wrong direction. It is worth noting, that we're basically still above that 31 double bottom, and we spent a couple of sessions down there before breaking back. So I would tend to think maybe we'll slow down at least a little bit if the short takes you into that 31, but that's already been breached. And then below the 29, you're probably talking mid-20s if we don't hold that kind of a level. So count me to the south side in front of that. If you fail break at 33 to the upside, I'd be southbound on a reversal, and then 35 is the big level that stands out. That's almost for sure going to be a short for me.
Why is there so much talk about donut holes? Did I miss something? We've got a new computer here. A donut hole. So just imagine, I know we're talking about Timbits. I don't know if you guys showed them already. But basically, it's the middle of a donut, right? I don't know what the problem is. This is like a big pastry like that. Maybe we can show them on the big board there at one point. Yeah, Luke. Yeah, Rob. You know what? Get those donuts if there's any left in there, and then we'll show them on that side shot to show everybody. You could get them in chocolate. You could get them in birthday cake. You can get them everywhere. But yeah, AMC right now looking pretty good for a trade. It's flat today, so I always think that coming off a weekend, it's going to get there. It is. Yeah, there we go. See a couple there. As you can see, they're getting depleted there, but those are Timbits. Shout out to QSR if you want to trade that symbol there, Tim Hortons. But yeah, Neil's went over a couple levels. I'm always waiting for 32, so let's see what happens with 32 on AMC, Brendo.
All right, one little one, guys. Bottom end of the list this morning, Windtree Therapeutics, WINT up on earnings. Want to direct your attention to the daily chart over here. 275, 280 has already been tested in the pre-market, but I would love this thing to get back up here, 275, 280. Failing that, pretty obvious bottom here, 230 to the downside. This was trading 180, 175 at the lows on Friday, so better than expected earnings, but a pretty big move for WINT, guys.
It's a definition of barcoding, but I did want to show what the offer looks like right now on this Windtree. There's a 200,000 offer right at 240 even. So when you see it doing this, sideways barcoding, that's why. I mean, there's just basically someone parking an offer there. It's done 3 million shares plus, so obviously that's not a gigantic number, but it's big enough in the pre-market that it's holding it up. I actually already have an order. You can kind of see this cluster here, like 250 into like about a 255 area, and then a top at 270. If this one pops into that range, I'll look to get short in front of that high of the day, that 930 rollover type of idea. Of course, we're watching that DraftKings, which is making, it's basically holding that 53 pretty well, but Robinhood just made a is just making a push into that 59 level. It's actually broken the pre-market high here, but not quite at that 59 with about 4 minutes to go. I'm going to remind these guys that we won't be hitting the countdown. One of you guys is going to have to hit that countdown because our stream deck don't like us and don't want to seem to work. And then ANY, is the other name that one of the other names that I'll be tracking. It's starting to press up, so didn't want to short in front of 565, not with only 4 minutes to go until the open. So if that pushes into 6 even, then I'll look to cash that one into that side. I have a deeper buy on Tesla. I really don't think that's necessarily going to come into play. It's DraftKings that I feel like could be the one first into this 50, this call is like 52, and then 51.5 is where we closed on Friday, obviously, as you can see here. So there was, it's not really like support so much as just, that's the close of the market here, and it's 51.40. There is some support down below at 51 even, so look to play off of that a little bit here on DraftKings.
Okay, I don't know why you wanted this, but Shakib, here we go. Here's the imbalance locator SQQ, so that's going to be nothing. That's NASDAQ name on board there. That's the reverse of the Qs there. And then Ford is on here. There's really nothing. This is nothing. SOS is on there as a buy, so maybe there's something there for you, Shakib. I know you've been talking about SOS for a while there, and it just continues to make moves. That's a workhorse, obviously. SOS should be going upside. Yeah, I was going to say upside with the move of Bitcoin there. And what I want to talk about was actually workhorse before we went over to the imbalance locator. And yeah, maybe it's holding out okay there. 14 vehicles versus 1. I'll take it. That could be a good sign there. So we'll wait to see what it opens up, though. I am expecting Workhorse to do a little bit of a dance here because we do know that it is very heavily shorted. And maybe that number, to only be down 3% here for like off earnings for EV space, that's pretty much a win, I think, for some of these names. So we can wait to see where Workhorse goes. It's funny because I'm going to use this 1010 as the opposite now. I'm going to use it as a breaking spot to go higher now. So I'm going to use this 1010 now to bust out a little bit here. I'm going to try along that 1010. If it fails, it fails. Then we'll use VWAP to get back out. But I'm just wondering if the number's not as bad as maybe we thought there for Workhorse. So we'll wait to see if that one's going to come into play there. There's Randy. Yeah, he's getting ready. See if he can reach that the high side there. We are getting close, man. 5250 is going to come and rear its ugly head very, very fast here for DraftKings. So we'll be out of this one. It's going to break right now, and then we'll reassess this. I wish it was getting close to open right now, but we will assess some of this afterwards. We'll get out of the majority of them as it's going to break, and then we'll see what happens here with DraftKings as it looks like it wants to take out this 5250 high on the afternoon. So we got into this one a little too early, and now you're going to see us paying the price here on the downside.
Yeah, I see this Works. So with a minute and a half to go, Works making a bit of a run. This actually spiked in the morning on On Friday, before double topping and then triple topping at like 350. So if it ever pulls back, try not to forget 350. You want to go back into a couple of weeks ago, mid-July. This is that 415 to 420 level that is turning around right now. As you can see, a couple of closes in that price range. And then you go right up to this 480. So you kind of have these levels embedded in. On Works, it's already not barcoding, but it's already resisting at that first one, that 425 with just a minute to go. So just watch out. This is a fairly significant level, the 420 to 425. I mean, there's nothing there until you get to 480 on Works. And then, I mean, you're all the way down to 350 there. So, of course, the guy's hitting the 420 because I said it. So why not? Good job, you guys, all over it. I mean, they're catching me eating. And, of course, they're going to get the graphics to us. Any's starting to pop up. I'm going to short into $6 at that 930 pop. But Works now on the list here for 425. There's room to that 480 level. It does set up for like a rollover at that price because it's a significant one. And then, of course, Robinhood breaking that 59 now. 61 is the level for me I'll be waiting very patiently for.
Okay, I'm just getting some orders set up for Palantir here because I don't mind getting something into the 21s here. We talked about that. That's on our watch list as well. Palantir
countdown.
earnings.
10.
10, yep. Hit the countdown. There we go. Palantir earnings coming soon, guys. So, okay, we're going to watch DraftKings. We're going to watch Robinhood. We got everything on board. Here, get ready to open here at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it, Randy. We're open now. All right, Randy looking super serious there. Robinhood rate upside stops at 60 or around 59.50, sorry. We'll watch to see where Robinhood goes from here. DraftKings gets taken out, so now we're holding a very, very small piece. Let's see where we go from here on DKNG. I don't mind it.
Oh, and of course, Works already rolling over. DraftKings starting to fall. I picked some up there at that 52.30, but I'm going to see if I can't short Works on a pop into that 4, if it even wants to go. So got to this one a little bit late and thought there would be a rollover that I could definitely play there. ANY is also making some moves in here into the downside. It's not doing that 930 pop, but I'll wait for it to potentially bounce off 550 and then see if I can still get that pop into that $6 range. But it looks like the one that we missed out is going to be on that Works. And Robinhood, it did make that move. We did talk about how it had just broken 59 and then immediately reverses here, guys. So all I got is DraftKings on. There's no break of that 60 level, at least yet, on Robinhood. So first thing it does is sell off because, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So because of course I like that. Okay, so DraftKings same way. We'll take it long and if it goes 52.50 again. We'll try DraftKings long 52.50 if it does break because that was a spot that we didn't mind. So I don't mind trying it one more time here on DraftKings and see where we go on this name. So that's going to be DraftKings 52.50. We'll see if we get any love on that name. Who knows? I mean, I hope so. I hope so. But who knows if that's going to come through right now. What's up?
Coinbase just broke that 70 level. Of course, this is the one that's going to go. Coinbase breaking that 270 level for now. Looks like it's on the run. Might be have to. Look, I wanted to dip on this. It's obviously not going to happen. I just got into Works as that's making a run at that 420 level. 425, remember, 425. I know I said 420. We flashed a graphic, but 425 is definitely, and it just broke. So 425 just broke on Works. I'm sitting here looking for a dip buy, of course, on Coinbase. So as I get that order in to buy in front of 270, I want to show you Works because that was a crazy volume spike. I had to manage a position first, but it looks like it potentially making a run for that 440 level. So I just got Coinbase on the 270 dip. Wanted to make sure we caught that one. But Works off to the races, and it looks like it's about to halt to the upside. If I can catch it on the bid, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I was able to just get some shares there. If it doesn't halt in this situation, I've got to be able to get right out. So one of the things I do is, I should be showing you guys. Oh, why is it on Coinbase? Every time I want to do that, like I just got to trade into Coinbase, so I took the long on Works. It's just to get in, if you can catch that bid at 439, and then I throw my stop just to make sure that I don't get absolutely punked. If it doesn't halt within the 15 seconds, now I can engage in sort of holding on until the opening print. So it got punked on the short side there, 405, out here at 428, so you lose 23 cents there. And then I'm going to hang on to this long, take some of it out on the open, and remember 480 is the key level to the upside there. So we can basically look at that 480 as Coinbase, nice bounce there. We'll see if we can't take some out in front of 270, 272 on Coinbase. But I'll definitely get half out on Works. And then if it holds that 480 level that we showed on the daily chart here, if it holds 480, I'll probably cover the rest at that particular price, but definitely getting some out on the reopen.
Okay, we're trying a little bit here. Yeah, good trade on works there. We're going to try to get a little bit more on Hood here. We are long now on Hood, 61. So it's at 82 right now, but check the spread. We're going to offer a little bit here near. Here we go. Let's go. Is that me? I'm at 97, I believe, if we can get there. It is. Yes, sir. Bang! Right there with Robinhood. Nice little win there. We did take a workhorse long off that same level that we liked before. So we're going to see where that one goes from here. So that's going to be a big trade for us here on, well, not big trade. We're trying to make this a big trade. It does go all the way to 25. Let's see if that gets squeezed a bit. Back to 9.95, and we'll know we're wrong on this one. That is Workhorse. There it is. Nice one. And then Robinhood right now, 55 cents in the money. This is not a horrible spot for me. Again, 58.75. Let's learn from our mistakes and scalp this one out instead of the other way around where we get scalped on these trades, guys.
Yeah, and so very quickly while we're going over the work situation, this is at Coinbase. Like when I was saying, oh my goodness, I'm still on Coinbase. We missed that break at 270. Buy the dip. So I got in front of that 270. It tucks right in here, gives me the 15s. I quickly take a $2 scalp out. Now it's headed towards 275. Now, there's not a heck of a lot. We're talking about mostly air till 285 and then to that big 3 to 305 area. So, I think 85 makes a heck of a lot of sense here. If it does continue this move, it is worth noting you're not actually getting a ton of follow through. We're still basically, right at that 46,000 level. But if that 46,000 breaks, I'm of course talking about Bitcoin, I think we're going to that 85. And Coinbase can go without it, that's for sure. So big winner here on Coinbase. Still some room to run. It's DraftKings. Our favorite stock in the world is the day trade, Sean. That one's not doing anything.
Yeah, I can't believe I called that 270 top as well there. I didn't hit it, but DraftKings to the downside, so that's good. We did take 10 cents on Workhorse, which we're expecting for some more, so let's wait to see if we can get some more on Workhorse, guys. What's up, Brendo?
Bitfarms, guys, another crypto-related mover here so far, BITF. Just popping back up through $7 there. This thing's had 2 or 3 days to the upside in a row. Big volume, though, 17% for BITF so far.
All right. Yeah, just looking to see what we can do here as Hood starting to make a little bit of a move here is Hood. So we'll watch out for that one and see where we go. So right now, Robinhood coming back upside. I mean, I was waiting for that 58 and change area right up here. That may be a problem. We already did take 50 cents, and now it's coming back to the downside. So watch out here, a break of 56.50 or so, and we will be out of Robinhood, guys. 56.50 is going to be my out spot there on Robinhood if it does come back to the downside.
Yeah, and I talked about that, DraftKings being a bit of a dog. I mean, we're now at that, where are we at sitting on Coinbase? Yeah, we're basically trading about $6 in the money, but that DraftKings, it does try to hold initially that 52.50. We had that other bid down here on that 51.50 where it closed. It bounced once shy of this, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Not to go to Coinbase, I want to go back to DraftKings, slow down a second, and cancel this particular order. And the reason why I want to cancel that is because if it's going to hold above that 51.6, which is where it closed, then that's going to be where you want to buy the dip, at least a little bit more reasonable, I happen to think. I got in and out of Workhorse. I shorted off of that 10.10 level. It's broken. So like I said, it's a short until it breaks that number, and then it's not for me. I don't know if I'll hunt it any higher, but for now, I'm out of Workhorse, and I want to see DraftKings. If it can bounce off Friday's close, that'll be the other point that we try to put some shares in here. But as usual, DraftKings, the frustrating day trade once the market is open.
Yeah, I was mentioning this thing probably going to go back to negative because remember we talked about that 10% move on Friday. Look at this, $54 right back to 51 and change again. So we tried it. We tried to average in and then we averaged out of it and got out. So we are holding a very, very small piece right now just to watch it. So we'll see where it goes from here. That's going to be DraftKings. Palantir doing a little bit of a dance, but not much of one. It didn't go down anywhere for us to buy it. It went down to 21.80. I guess that could have been bought. I was more thinking about a 21.50 area. So if that comes into play, then that's where I'll be here for Palantir. So no real trade yet on that. Brandon talked about some of the weed names earlier on some downgrades, so I didn't catch the downgrades and who it was, but it looks like this is definitely having a little bit of an effect today on Tilray, down 2.8%, and still going. There goes Robinhood finally now, 90 cents in the money, Robinhood. Let's take this out now, 90-cent winner. What's up, Brandon?
Uber, guys, saw in the pre-market they announced they're going to issue some senior notes. So back to the downside here. Remember, we had a couple of days back higher after the earnings sell-off. So 1.6%, big volume though on Uber so far.
So Works opens back up. I mean, it gets a print right essentially at that 440 level, which is crazy because that's essentially where it halts, and then immediately starts to fail. And for me, I'm just going to get right out of it. So the hold trade doesn't work out too well there. It's going to be a bit of a disappointment, I would say. I mean, it's not a horrible one. I think it's worth that shot, but certainly it's flat for now. I want to see if it's going to be able to hold up at 450. Obviously, that's the next level to the upside. It does set up for a bit of a breakout still at 450, so I'll go ahead and take that, only because you still have that 480 level that we talked about. So Works starting to slow down a bit, but I think it'll be worth a shot off that 450. I'm not shorting it yet. It would have to hold below that 440 price and consolidate probably in the 30 range. So first things first, let's see if 50 can break. We'll jump back into the long. Coinbase pulled back a little bit, but still about $3 in the money. And DraftKings is doing its best to try to hold the low here. I got 52 as my price.
Yeah, DraftKings is not doing a whole hell of a lot there. We did get that Robinhood print, so that was a good one for us. Now it's obviously rips up to 60, so we did take a nice bid there at 57.50. We talked about that level right here, why we liked it into this consolidation as well. So that was a good one, never really went against us, but yeah, dumped it a little too early, needless to say there, as it looks like it still wants to make moves to the upside here. Goes Robinhood, nicely done for anybody there trading Robinhood that's able to hold that long. Good on ya for that one. We're still waiting, man. We did take a little piece out there on Workhorse on that long, just thinking that it would explode to the upside. Obviously, that's not happening, so it might be time to regroup on some of that thought right there. That may not be happening at all, so we'll wait to see where it goes. But right now, Workhorse, I don't know, man, 990 is going to be my out. So right here at VWAP. So if it doesn't work out, that's where we're going to be looking. Palantir, again, not doing too much. People are asking about SoFi. SoFi up to $17 there and then bouncing down a little bit. So yeah, nice move for SoFi, but now not doing too much. We can check back on our list. Coinbase, we should have had that one at 370. I talked about it even on here. I don't have it. It doesn't matter. Good thing Neil does. But Coinbase breaking out, right? So there it is. Nice move up to 277 and now back a little bit here. And then the other name that I really, really liked, and then hopefully it's not up too high right now, is Facebook. So let's look at a spot to get in here on Facebook. Wow. I mean, as the NASDAQ goes, man, wow, some of these names starting to get cracked. I've been a little negative on the NASDAQ for a little bit, so this is no surprise to me here as we look like it's fading out here a little bit today. So yuck. I'm not looking forward to this week.
Speaking of fading out, that Works is going to come right back. As a matter of fact, just as I reverse into the long, we got that 450 on the break, added to it up here, got some out right at 465, which is essentially now the high of the day. It then turns right around, and of course I'm going to have my stop at that previous whole price at 440, and then it breaks right down and stops me out. So it's like sell at the bottom, sell at the top. Pretty much a boring trade there. It's kind of annoying. It looks like Works is trying to head to 480, but it's doing so in the most whipsaw action that you can possibly imagine. The other one I have is DraftKings. Remember I said it's trying to bounce here? So all morning we had the two bids. We had the one off of this 52 quarter or so, and then we had the other bid sitting in front of the previous close, but can't hit the key, look a gift horse in the mouth. If we're going to stall out at that first level, that quarters and 50s, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't take some of this out here. That would at least allow me to rinse and repeat if we're going to hold the 5150 area. So I'm still in DraftKings. Yes, it's making a bit of a move to the upside. Yes, I just did get some out, but that's a break even, right? The first dip we got, that's just a break even. We still have to hold 5150. Then we can now head to that 53 price, which I think can still get us a pretty decent winner here. But DraftKings, oh my goodness, as soon as I'm talking about it, boom, it just pops down like 40 or 50 cents. So big test as usual for DraftKings. Seems like it always wants to fail when I'm bullish on it. This didn't come all the way back to 270, but a pullback into 271 and VWAP on Coinbase. It's still making a run. I need to see this put in at least close to the 277 high before I think about, okay, do I really want to be dipping into this one at 271, 272? I'd like to see it make another test at that top. Brendan?
ELAN, big mover today, 14% guys back to the downside. This is in the pet care industry. $30 trying to hold as support here. They reported their results and also cut their full year adjusted profit forecast. So anytime you do that, not going to be a good thing. So ELAN, big mover downside on volume as well.
Okay, so here we go, guys. We got a nice win there. Out on Facebook, so a nice one there. We would hit the bang again, but we don't have it, or to the moon, whatever. 362.30 right now, a nice win. We defend that long. This time we're just gonna take a little bit out as we go here on Facebook because, okay, so now it's going to the upside even more. So nice long 32 362.34. We talked about that. I was just going to play it off of these bottoms here, 361.50 from Friday. So, okay, so we take that, and it's a good trade for us so far. Workhorse comes back down, so that one, small hit. I mean, we take a 20-cent win there, and then we lose 20 cents. So small hit on Workhorse because we didn't get out of everything, obviously, as we were expecting that to continue to rip, right? So now we'll wait to see where Workhorse goes. Maybe back to the downside, who knows? But DraftKings right now, yeah, not having much love as it continues to go down. I don't know where we'll find a bid on this. Maybe 50 holds, maybe it doesn't, but right now they don't like that DraftKings purchase. It doesn't look like it was up 4 or 5% earlier, which I thought maybe had a chance to go, but it doesn't look like it wants to here as DraftKings pulling way back. So we've already taken the hit. We're just holding very, very small to see where we go. I like the long again if we get back up here, but that's going to have to happen before we take any more positions.
Yeah, I'm going to take a quick shot here. This is going to be, obviously Works has been a pain in the butt. You had that long we held, which is basically flat on the halt. Then we got the break at 50, which is going to give you some kind of a win up to that 65. Next thing you know, you're stopping right back out here below that 440 level. Now it's actually trying to consolidate. I know this is VWAP, not usually where I would be selling this one, but you still have that halt price. And then actionable here just above it, like 445. So, DraftKings kind of a stinker. I'm not actually going to go into more Coinbase just yet. Remember I said I wanted this thing to maybe test a little bit closer to that 277. Obviously doesn't do that, is I just get stopped out on DraftKings, so you can flush that one down the toilet. 51.50 doesn't hold. After that, I mean, the only level down there is going to be 50 even. If that wants to hold, fair enough. But like I said, I didn't want to dip into Coinbase again unless we made a run at 277. Looks like that's the right call. But that 270 where the breakout was, if it comes down there, I think that's reasonable for a re-entry point into Coinbase. Brendan?
Yeah, that's actually not Randy fixing his car, but we will mention to Randy to maybe do something about the noise. Yeah, apparently there's construction above us, guys. We apologize if you do hear that. Plug, we talked about it on Friday after earnings, big sell-off back to 26. Trying to break higher here. It held 26 there at the open, guys, for Plug Power.
I was telling Rob that I like this keyboard and we should take another one there. Okay, yeah, so right now, lots of stuff happening for us everywhere right now. So you got to just try to pay attention if you can on some of these moves. Neil and I just watching out for Facebook. Well, I mean, I have Facebook here. Facebook's starting to make that move to the upside right now. So we're going to watch out to see where Facebook goes from now. So Facebook nicely up into the money now, that dollar. So 362.34. If the NASDAQ can bounce up, man, I really like Facebook. I think this is the strongest of the strong. We've talked about how it's been really battling backside now the last couple days off that 350. So again, I like it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So let's see where Facebook can go here now, trying to make some moves. So don't mind Facebook at all, but it's trying to get back to the upside where it needs to go for me to make any kind of money on this one. And then just to check back in on Palantir. Palantir, for some reason, I mean, not for some reason, the earnings are going to be on the 12th, but it's starting to go right now. So Palantir, a beautiful move to the upside all day today. And, normally I would have that kind of a break. With this kind of a move happening, though, on Palantir, it is going to be pie in my face because I expecting Palantir to go down, and we did have lower bids, and they were actually lower than this. Not too much lower, but in the 2160s, and now it's gone. So Palantir to the upside, nothing but love for you, Mr. Palantir, as you are taking out 2220 now and looking to run, and there it is, man. What a good trade here for me on Facebook, as that is now $1.40, $1.50 now in the money on FB. We got the bottom tick here. Let's see if we can get back to this 365 area. That's going to be my area of concern right now, so a nice little win here for FB, guys.
Yeah, and good one on Facebook for sure. I mean, I'm watching his work. So I talked about it was kind of weird that I'm shorting at VWAP, but again, this is more to do about that 440, that halt price. It couldn't break out right away off that halt to the upside, and it stalled out at 450, just barely breaking it. We got a small long that was able to win, and then the rest of the trade we took a hit. So shorted it at 428. Which is right around this little VWAP here. That's fine. It was about a 12-cent stop. We just got some out, and of course, this cluster was at $4. If it breaks $4, look obviously at 375 to 380 is the next level up. If it pops back into VWAP, I'm shorting 420. We'll see what happens. But Works, it was a late add to the list, but it looks like hopefully we finally got this one working for us on Works. All puns intended, of course, because that's what we're all about here. I actually have stayed away from Robinhood. I said, if it breaks 60, I'd look for a fail break of 60. Well, it never broke 60, and then it doesn't even break the 57. So I didn't play it in the middle because that was the edges of the range that I wanted to see break. So nothing for me. It's about the only thing positive I can say about Robinhood is before I was sort of forcing the action on. Well, maybe I wasn't. I feel like I was forcing the action last week. So it just felt that way. Whether that's true or not will definitely remains to be seen. There were actionable trades that could win. I'm going to stick with my plan. If 60 breaks, I still think there's a chance for that fail break idea. I just missed, you kidding me? Like I just missed a reload on Coinbase there at 271, and now it's back at 273. So I did want to do a dip buy there, a little bit closer to my 270 level, but it looks like I missed it. Brendan.
One that got hit last week when those gaming companies sold off ZNGA here, Zynga, back to the upside today. You remember Thursday and Friday, this was under significant pressure. 8 holding as support here, but big volume to the upside today for ZNGA.
Yeah, that's been on the imbalance locator at the evening a couple times there. So, okay, Facebook, yeah, I may just put it out at 365. It did go all the way up big time there, right to these levels. So 364.50, not a horrible spot there, especially if the NASDAQ doesn't want to continue to go. So that's a spot here where we should be looking at it. And then guess what, guys? We talked about this on Friday, and it was an unbelievable move. I thought Beyond Meat was going to get left for dead a little bit there on Friday, and it wasn't. So 116, 117, wanted to get some in there. We didn't, and now you're up to 125, and Beyond Meat today rallying like crazy one more time today. So, wow, what a big move up for Beyond Meat. So congratulations, anybody in that name. It looks like it's trying to break out. I mean, a 130 is a nice print for AMD if that can come through. And then, again, I thought we were going to travel back down here and I'd be able to pick some up on the dirt cheap, but I guess not, as Beyond Meat just continues to make moves. And then talk about another stock that I'm waiting for it to fall and just have like a huge collapse in is Moderna, but that doesn't want to go upside. That doesn't want to come back down to life either. So Moderna up again, another one, man, 440 today again. So a big move up, man. That started at 410. Now you're all the way to the upside. Moderna continues to be the champion of all champions as far as vaccine makers are concerned. Pfizer, Moderna, BioNTech, all ripping right now.
Yeah, and man, DraftKings is, I don't know, I'm kind of kicking myself because I stopped out when we initially broke that 41.50, but it is holding double barrel. And we did take some profit out here at 52.25, but it's still going to be a losing trade. For those asking, I didn't see an offer on Moxie at 9, but I will keep an eye on it. We know what happens when there's a big offer on that stock. It tends to run away from it pretty hard. But DraftKings, it might be that was the level. As Friday's close at 51.60, I put my stop below that, actually allowed it to break a little bit here, and then made not close to bottom wick, but if it now holds this level, that was a bit of a wipeout bottom. I'll try DraftKings one more time. I'd almost rather it test that bottom again and then jump back into the trade. For now, Ms. V's got a name for us at the big screen.
Hey Neil, traders on the chat talk about Vaxart. Stock is up more than 6%, guys. Could you give us a quick review of VXRT?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Of course. Anyways, Vaxart, I amuse myself. But the 15-minute chart here is going to show you a lot of nothing except for a ridiculous turn at 940. So you're probably, like, if you're already involved in this breakout, it looks like if it holds above 50 level, you probably like it. But I would watch out for 10 even, and that 10 even's obviously 10 even, but 10 even also stands out here back into June. And then from there, you actually have some real runway. So you're already kind of breaking back in to what I think is, I mean, it has to hold this 50 levels I'm watching right now. And the reason, yeah, of course it's failing right now at 50 as I say it. So you can throw all of that out the window if this ends up being a failed break through that 40 to 50 range because Vaxart could come right back into that quarters. But if it can hold above here, I think 10 is that next level to the upside, at least from what I'm looking at. And the volume isn't, like, this isn't crazy volume, to be honest with you guys, and it's not like it's a ridiculous amount of, I guess, buying streaming on the time and sales. So I don't know if this is just it's chopping at the key level or the time I came into it, it already just put in that volume spike, but it doesn't seem nearly as strong as when you pull it up on that, like, 15-minute chart. When I actually watched level 2 here, not a heck of a lot of action going on that you'd expect, as this is kind of a battle point here, 940 to 950, and there's really not a lot of damage being done either direction.
Man, I guess we must have missed that high there on FB, guys. Yeah, that 364. We were getting really excited here, thinking that this was going to run. This may be another spot to get some more in here on Facebook, man. I mean, the market's started to go anyways, back to positive there, and we thought this would run a little bit more. So I think it's just misunderstood right now. Is that possible? I think it is. So let's wait to see here. I don't mind getting some more long on Facebook, and maybe even right here if we can. There we go. So we'll just cross it up and get some 91s there. So same kind of love for the backside here on Facebook. Hopefully we can hold this 361.50 on the down movement there. But look, if it runs, we know we're going to have a good one here on Facebook. So for me, this is worth the risk, but still work to be done here on FB. If there's any other names, like look at Palantir. I mean, I'm super happy with this. I mean, I still hold these shares. I was hoping to get some more in. It hasn't really given me that yet, but wow, nice move upside right now for PLTR. I mean, maybe we can look at a 20 period chart here and just have a quick look at where we're going. But
Sean, Robinhood broke that 57.
Oh, did it go to the downside now? Okay, well, are you short?
Yeah, I got slipped to 80s there. I mean, well, I guess, yeah, it could be worse than that. 20 cents worth of slippage on that break of 57 even. I mean, immediately going to scalp some out here at 56.50 just because there was like a break to the upside at around that 7 o'clock range. If it breaks through, if it busts through that 50 level, obviously I'm going to be looking back down here at like 55 and a half, but it's not exactly falling off. See, that's the problem, right? We talk about like don't chase a parabolic move up, but then when you get a break and it's like almost a parabolic move down, that's one of the reasons why you take some out right away. If it does a snapback action here, I think it could immediately be staring at like 57.50 in the face. So I'll probably jump back into some more shares at 57.50 and then buy back out of this around that same 56 half that we got out before. So yes, it's falling, but kind of that level got taken out in the bottom of a not parabolic move, but a big candle to the downside here. So I'll wait till 57.50 to get back shares in. And Coinbase, it's holding up a couple of bucks in the money. I'll try if I can get a dip buy again at 271. That's the price I like, but I missed it the first time. So I'm not sure it's going to get back there and give me a second chance.
Yeah, so for me, no problems other than the fact that we have a slight problem, and that is that I didn't pay for shorts. I completely forgot. So I was like, why am I not short Robinhood on that 57 break? So thank you, Neil, for pointing that out to me for sure, because I didn't pay for that. And so again, all we could do for ours, man, is you can just go right into our platform here on Day Trade the World and request Robinhood shares. Let me do it right in front of you here. Hood, here it is right here, hood.nq. Let's just try out 100 shares just to show you guys how much it costs. We'll hit submit here and we'll see how much it's going to cost. Right here, it should say it. Yeah, $1.57 for 100 shares. So definitely worth it, and we'll change that and get a little bit more. But right now, that's pretty cheap. So if you're, that's a strategy that Neil and I do, man. We look to see the price of them, and then you can get more or less based on that price. So Robinhood shares, I think it's worth it to pay 15 cents or whatever it was, or 1.5 cents for shares. I'm just going to do it, and we'll see about trading Robinhood here a little bit more now that we have the shares finally.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've done that about 1 million times. It's going to happen. Like you're going through your prep in the morning. Of course, we said we had some issues this morning with the PC, so that definitely changed things a bit. I just got some more works here. Look, I didn't get any more shares out at that 390. Thought we'd go down into that 380 range. Now it's bouncing to the upside. So I'm going to work into more in front of that 420 to 425 mark. So slowing down here on Works, slowing down on Coinbase, and of course, I'll wait for Robinhood at about 57.50. Brendo?
And guys, CAN, another Bitcoin-related name coming back into $10 here. Was support pre-market, but big volume spike back to the downside for CAN for those watching.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, Dan. You're welcome for sharing. I mean, that's what we're here for, man. Like some shows will hide the stuff that they're doing. I mean, that was about as transparent as we can be, showing you guys, there we go, showing you guys what we're doing here on the shortable shares. Okay, 57.50, I mean, now I can wait a little bit. Let's wait for another 57 break. I mean, I'm not gonna change what I'm thinking here just because now that I have shares. So I'm gonna wait for another 57 break and then just say my bad on that first little load up there and see if we can get some more now if it does break back down below. So I don't mind that at all. AMD coming to the downside, and Palantir, I mean, not to keep talking about it, but it's just this move. Brendan, maybe you can find out about this. I don't see anything. I mean, I'm not really checking too many news sources as we're here live right now. But I mean, this is a straight shot to the upside. I don't know if they got a new contract or not today, as we did have some pre-market issues. But Palantir straight to the upside. If anybody knows anything, put it in the chat. But it is pretty hot fire right now. Did Neil's Morgan Stanley, because I know it's yours, break 100? It almost did, man. 99.97 right now.
I hate that.
Morgan Stanley looking very, very strong. I mean, whatever. Congratulations. Who cares?
But the annoying thing was, like I said like a month ago, I got to find a way to get more into the banks, and I was just like very, very picky, and I kept waiting at bids that never got filled, so I never got any more. Those charts are annoying on those, on almost every single one of our banks. But I got to show you one chart here, and I just proposed this one to Twitter, and I'll tweet out the Coinbase whenever, but like this one, it's kicking me in the butt here because Workhorse comes above, and this is kind of sloppy. That 1010 level, I mean, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb because it was that Friday bottom and then end up being the pre-market low. So obviously you like it on the breakdown, but stopping out at that price, I don't know, that kind of seems pretty dumb now. Like obviously, this hindsight is 2020, but at least giving this one a 1035 would have made sense. I mean, Workhorse is all the way back to the bottom, and essentially I was getting out at that top wick here. So it is what it is. Things are going to happen to you. I'm just not pleased with that particular trade or the way I kind of put that stop in there. 1010 was a good level, but that seemed like more of a breakdown of support than just blindly saying on something that I'm bearish is going to be my out. So pie in my face for that one. Robinhood never gave me that reload. This is why. Like you can see this tick essentially right up to my order. I'm sitting here at 57.47 and it goes right up to 57.47, does not print. If it comes up here again, I'll probably try to catch it a little bit lower and on the way down. So if it bounces 57.50 rejects 57.50, I'll try to catch it on the way down instead of just sort of sitting on the offer here to get more Robinhood to the south side. 60 does remain a level, guys, as long as it is actionable, but 60 was, as a failed break, was a bit of a problem last time. I would allow that to break and go for the rollover trade, but for now we're trading off the lower end of the range in Robinhood. Up 4%, but it has been mostly sell since the open.
Sell, yes, right now, not looking great for that trade, but we'll wait to see here what is going to happen now for us on that Robinhood. I am now short that 40, so it does tick higher there against me. So we'll wait to see now what Robinhood wants to do, but for right now, it's not great. So we'll wait on that one. 4,100, there we go. 57.40. You know, areas of concern for me. So we've already taken, like, this is 57.60. That's out there, 40 cents. And then our other out there, what is this price? 57.60 out, 58.80. So that's $1.20. I'm actually willing to hold this pretty much back to this area. Here, we talked about Robinhood being really, really nasty and jumping around a hell of a lot. So if we can get any love on this name, we'll take it. But it has to come up to 58.24.25 for me to get out or get a little bit more in, sorry. And then this is going to be my out, 58.60. So if we can crack above 58.60, then I for sure will be out of Robinhood. So right now I'm going to hold this short, take a little bit more. I still think we can break back down through 57. Crypto's kind of bouncing around. It's not doing a whole hell of a lot. Bitcoin 54, sorry, 54. This is, let me call up a 1 minute chart here. I think it's been falling a little bit. I've been watching ETH. I've been watching ETHE a little bit. Bitcoin down to 45.5 again. So I think that Robinhood, although it's much more apparent on coin because Robinhood's brand new, but you're going to be able to see hopefully some nice moves happening in Robinhood, especially if crypto falls back down. I think there is something to do with that. So we'll put another offer here around 58 and play this short on Robinhood.
Yeah, and speaking of, just got more shares there at Works. It made another test up to 420. You can see the first time it kind of reversed. I didn't add to it there. It does get to 420 here. I can zoom in a little bit so you guys can see better. It does bounce back up to like 418 or so on the way back down. I'll pick some more shares up at like that 10 range. Average price basically sits at 11 here. It is, obviously you're going to get a higher low that gets put in. This dip buys, this pullback's going to be 377. Off the open, you're going to get 80, then you're going to get 90. So it is putting somewhat of an upward move. And the only reason I like the short is, remember, halt to the upside and then failed breakout from that halt to the upside. A lot of times that's going to put me bearish almost every single time, actually. So I'm going to wait until we test 425. Once we do that, I will add to this one more time. I talked about missing on Coinbase probably a couple of times here. I mean, yeah, we did miss twice at that 270 level. It's this third time here that I thought we had a chance and only got to 72s. It's kind of put up or shut up time. Like, it needs to break past 75 and at least make a run at that high of the day. Or we might not have the all-day runner that we thought this one could be. We'll see what happens in Coinbase, but not a heck of a lot of reason to get out of it just yet. And then for anyone that's still, if you're watching that Moxie, I still haven't really seen anything too crazy at that 9 level, but it is starting to get up to that price. So it is actionable every single time. And if you were trading a couple of weeks ago, you would have seen that there were massive offers just sitting on Moxie, and then the stock would just, it would bounce off the level. You could short it in front and would break and give you another chance to short it, and then just started dying. And then every time another size offer would pop up, it would be the easiest rejection and short of all time. So as weak as this stock is, if there's a big seller, yeah, I'll short in front of it. I just need to see it first. I haven't seen it at 9. Obviously, it's going to stand out, and I'll take a shot in front of it. Yeah, actually, I see 50,000 shares, 500,000 shares at 888, not 9. So I'll jump in front of that on Moxie. 10 o'clock, you guys are going to Brendan with Happening Now.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's go have a look at how things stand at this point. We are negative still. S&P 0.18, the Dow 0.34. You can see the NASDAQ trying to get back into positive territory here. We're basically dead flat at the moment for tech stocks. The Russell to the downside today as well. 0.62 end of last week. We had small caps kind of leading the way as far as strength is concerned. I'll show you a couple of things here that we were talking about in the pre-market. DraftKings, did test higher all the way back, though. We got up to just about where we were on Friday, right back into some of these support levels from late in the day yesterday. Look at the volume, though. Still pretty impressive volume for DraftKings after that deal announced in the pre-market this morning. Let's go one more, and then we'll get you back to the guys here. Tesla trying as well. Nice trade through that pre-market high. 710 up to 711 was a bit of an area. Gets all the way up to 717 for Tesla, guys. Back over to you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Because I see this AEHR making moves here. We'll get to that in a quick little bit, but I just want to point out I am going to get that. Like I said, I'm going to get that Moxie, but I just tried catching Hood on this turn. Catching Robinhood on this turn, and it got up to this 57.50. Rolls right back into that opening range bottom at 40s where I tried to get it. Of course, you're going to see it falling back into the downside. That's the price I want. It looks like it's going pretty heavily into the downside. Wow. Yeah, that's a big spike to downside. I want to hold on to this one on Robinhood, but that low of the day sits at, low since the open is 56.40. That would be a good place to at least take some profit out of it, but I did try to get more shares at 57.50, and I did get into that Moxie. Moxie is pure short off of a big size offer. If that offer is gone, I'm out of the trade. There's no key price areas. There's nothing scientific about it. It is big offer on 88. I'm out if 88 breaks.
Okay, guys, talk about Moxie. Robinhood, a good trade for me today. It's going to be it is going to be my number one stock. Facebook's good. It needs to get going there for sure. But Robinhood and then DraftKings, is bad. So here goes Robinhood. We did take that short. Was pretty good there. I know Neil was waiting for higher. I was also waiting for a little bit higher. I'm surprised I never got any up there. But right there, a nice little move there. We got 57.40s, out 57.11, then punched the short again through 57 like we wanted. That's the reason why we're short in the first place. And then we took a bid out right there at 80. So 40s to 11s to 80s. So that's at the bottom there. That's a 60-cent win. And now you can see that we have the short now through 57. So now my short is 92, and we are continuing to crash. Not starting to crash, continuing to crash down. This is not much of a crash for Robinhood. You're still up nicely. But again, maybe something here. We had some pre-market love around 56-ish. So we get back down to there. I think that's worth putting a bid anyways near there. So let's see how far that can go. Palantir still ripping. Brendan, no news here on Palantir other than we talked about it being earnings week for them. I have them on the 12th. So that's going to be coming up soon for them. And Robinhood right now is the only real concern that I have. We are out of the money now on Facebook. We've averaged in. So we should be able to punch out of this one if it does break too much lower than this through 361, as it looks like, man, we're going to lose on this one too. The NASDAQ trying to get back, but not looking pretty right now, guys.
Yeah, we're slightly down, and the ES is rolling over as well. Works is back to that $4 level, 403 actually on the bid. I'm kind of sitting here in the one, just below 4 at 98, and I got a low 90s bid here as well. Gonna take some out here because last time it spiked down, I basically sat waiting for it to roll over and test even lower, like 10 cents lower, then get more shares out in this range here. So instead, I'll try to get some out in this cluster. If it breaks down, we'll get more out, and then we're gonna rinse and repeat off 425. But it's starting to show a few signs of strength. Moxie, look, it'll sit in the money like 14 or 15 cents, but I'll just wait for that one to slide down. I have 73. I just got some out in the 50s there, but my stop is at 88, so risking 15 pennies, not taking it out till just now, broke past 15 cents in the money for me. Brendan, what's up, bud?
A couple of things. Microvision, guys, just popping up here on volume, just double checking on Microvision. Looks like Zach's upgrade, the infamous Zach's upgrade for MVIS. This one as well, 7.5% for Roblox today. Trying to get back above some key levels here. Don't see anything for RBLX. They report next Monday, so a week today, guys.
Oh man, Roblox was a name I wanted to get into and was waiting for a little bit of lower love there, but I guess it was pretty low already. Should not have been so greedy on that name and just got into that. Okay, Facebook bouncing back, so nicely done. Oops, that's still Robinhood. That didn't do anything actually. What am I doing? Here's Facebook right here. So I don't know where my out is. I did get, oh no, I didn't get out on Facebook yet. Where's my offer? Thought I had one higher here. It's 361.97. Oh my God. It went to 97 there and I didn't get printed. So, okay, we were trying to get out at 97. Here we go. Oh, come on. A little bit more upside here and we'll take a little bit out. We'll take a 20-cent hit or 30-cent hit or so, 23-cent hit. There it is. So there's the out there. So nice. So not nice. It's a 20-cent hit. But now maybe we can rally back. I have less shares. We'll see where we're going from here on this name. That is Facebook still trying to make some moves.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go. Works is moving down. Is it worth it? Let me works it. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. We don't have any graphics. I'm gonna just maybe try to throw some verses in there for you guys. I can't say that. I don't have no idea I've listened to that song a million times and I have no idea what that chorus is. I'm sure you guys already know it's something in backwards, but we talked about those clusters orders. You guys could see my bids were sitting out there. 1, 2 filled, 3 still waiting here at 393. So if that comes in, we'll be pretty happy with it. Got to go back over to that Moxie. And again, we show you all different kinds of trades. I understand like this might not be a trade that everybody can put on. So that's kind of the caveat I'll put in there. Whoops, of course, it's still on works because it doesn't want to flip for me, but there you go. If I can still see that order, yeah, you can't really see it, but at 888, there was 500,000 shares. When the stock is done, 650,000 on the session, right? So it's pretty simple. This is not me shorting off of this level here. Oh, it turns at 75, round number. No, this is not me shorting off the pre-market high. But anyways, just catch it there. It's looking like it's falling down. Every single time it's seen one of these, it's like a God mode short, but you can't let the level break. And even if the level does, essentially it's been pretty solid to short the pop. So I'm going to do that on Moxie here today if I get that chance. Robinhood, I might not have gotten more shares in, but I did take some out. I'll cancel this offer. I did take some out in front of the low of the day. And remember, this is basically that flat that we have with 56.80 on the 57 break. We tried to get some on the rollover and didn't. So if it's going to hold the bottom, I'll take some out to lighten the load because it's trying to put in a support at 56.50. That's where we got out best out. If it comes back up here, it really needs to hold that 57.5 again. That's where I would jump back into some shares. Brendan, what do you have?
Other notable movers for today. Tyson Foods, TSN. We talked about it late in the day on Friday, just making day highs here. $76 now for TSN after an earnings beat this morning for them.
So many earnings beats. Tyson Foods. Oh, you know what? That's probably another reason why Beyond Meat starting to run as well. So well, that was TSM, right, Brendan? TSM, okay, good. Tyson Foods, TSM, okay. Doesn't make too much sense, but 118, yeah, nice little move to the upside right now for Tyson. Well, actually flat here for them, but TSN, N, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say M, that doesn't make any sense. Tyson Foods here, there it is. So that's at 7% up to 75 and change. Let's check it out on the daily, like Brendan just mentioned there. You know, and this is, again, you know, we're looking at a lot of things, but if you're going to review anything here, talk about, you know, when you're looking for earnings, you're looking for something to break out of the range, right? And then that's exactly what's happened here on Tyson Foods. So a nice little move there. And I believe, you know, that being up 6%, obviously helping. They've talked about they're in competition, right, with the Impossible Burger. So you're seeing Beyond Meat today also nicely up. So good feels for the restaurant and food businesses here today, guys.
Yeah, and we'll get to, Coinbase broke that 275 again. Remember, but it's already been up here. 277 still stands as the high. It's making a run at that top. This is what we've been looking for here. So still hanging on about $6 in the money, but it's AEHR. I know you guys were talking about this, and I mentioned it, but we didn't actually get into it a little bit here. But this is attempting to break out of a cluster here at about that 6 even. Just to show you on the 15-minute chart, because it's a little bit more clean. It did try to go through just now, and it's still at that quarter mark. But watch out. You know, it spiked up to 660. after testing this level. You gotta love the fact, I can't really pull us back, here you go. Yeah, I mean, you gotta love the fact that you're essentially gonna be double up from like mid-July here, and then hold that higher, that $5 level pretty nicely on AEHR. So that's a pretty bullish sign. Obviously, the next stop here is going to be that 660 in terms of resistance. So that's what I'm kind of looking off of. Usually, I'd be saying to this double top, yeah, you'd short off the high of the day for sure. But with 660 looking like the key level to me, I'll back off from this one. It's not gigantic volume, by the way. It's kind of small volume on AEHR, so I want to be very careful there. A and Y just popped in. Yeah, oh, that's parabolic move up. Every now and then it's like, do I really want those offers out there? Of course, we said we wanted this at 930 off of that 6 even, but that's a pretty big volume spike in here, so I'll open up very, very quickly, see if I can scalp some of this any off. Sometimes it's about how you get the fill, and I'll quickly take, if I can get in here waiting all morning for 590 to 595, and then you're gonna immediately give me 15 cents, I'll take it, because that's on volume, that's on holding this pre-market breakout price here at 520, and then you get a bottom here at 527, so that's pretty bullish, volume spike right into our level. Thankfully, we actually had our orders at a decent price, otherwise that could have been a pretty bad fill. We'll see what happens, but I'm not gonna let 6 break, not the way that this came in.
No, and that's part of it too, guys. Like, notice that we're watching how things are breaking, and playing those accordingly. And that's nice trade here on Facebook anyways. Nice long 361 out. So we've been doing pretty good on this name so far here today on Facebook. So let's wait to see where we go on from here anyways. Now taking those bottom bids there, 361 and change. Now we'll go, we did take that bid and that fell against us. So that was the average in. So right now, nice little move upside here for FB. Hood is my #1 stock today so far. Well, hopefully Facebook will be, but Hood is still my #1 stock. We didn't get enough out down here. It did rip down or tank down there to 56.80, but now it's trading much more like a normal stock, in my opinion. Big movements, and then now we're just kind of chilling out. I mean, I think it deserves to be up a little bit. Crypto's up, and I think that we know, where Hood makes its money from as well through some of those transactions on the crypto space. So that's a good sign for them, as it's nothing but love here for Hood on the upside, it looks like, guys.
Yeah, we'll see. It's right back at that 57.50 level. So, I mean, that's going to be a key one for me. We talked a little bit about DraftKings, of course, if you're watching. If you're trading, I almost said GNOG. That's fine. But if you guys are trading the other side of this deal, anytime you see a gapper to the upside, always check the news. When it is an all-stock deal, basically just look at a chart of DraftKings. That's the only thing that's going to matter here, guys. So Gold Nugget is going to move basically toe-in-toe because it's an all-stock transaction. So I want people caught off guard with that. For Robinhood, for me, I wanted to see if it comes back up. This is level tested. It got to 57.75 and then rolled over. Forget about this price. If it rolls over here, I'll once again try to catch shares on the downside if it turns. That's got to be an if because it hasn't turned yet. Any has calmed down. So as much as I got that fill violently, for now it looks like it's going to be an okay one, but I'm still giving it only to $6, not giving it any extra space. Brendo?
I was looking at QuantumScape, not seeing anything significant as far as news on this, but nice mover today as well, about 6% off of 22 there from Friday, guys. Decent volume behind QS as well.
Yeah, there was another name that I was looking at there, and I can't remember. Oh, it was still Palantir. And guys, honestly, this is just a missed opportunity. I mean, normally I'm on Palantir. We talked about what I was waiting for today on this NASDAQ dip. I was actually waiting for it, and then when it didn't happen, you guys know we put bids. I mean, they're sitting right here, 22, low 22s now. When we were bouncing around at this 22.10 area, it's really a shame because I was literally just right down here at 22, like 2203, 04s, like that, trying to get long, because once we realized that this did not affect the stock, like that did not happen to Palantir, then we knew that this was nothing but upside. So let's wait to see, man. Probably some positive talk here for Palantir. So they're just continuing to rip to the upside right now, PLTR. So good movements for them. And yeah, it ain't stopping right now. So I'm not going to pay up for these because I don't quite frankly understand what the hell's going on. But right now, Palantir is trying to make moves to the upside. So just be very, very careful if you're trying to short it. But this is a big one, up to $23. So we're right at this area right here. I may put on a short for Palantir 22 or 20, maybe 23 or so here, just against that 23. Sorry, 22.80 against this 23. It's just been a big runner. I'd like to get a little closer to 23 first, though.
Well, all screwed now. I mean, Sean's going to short Palantir. Might as well just pack it up, take the mic off, and just walk away.
Yeah, it might be time.
we'll probably be fine. But like again, this is the whole thing. Don't trade your own book. Trade the price action. Trade what you see. So all jokes aside, obviously, look, if you think it's a short, you put the short on. You can't worry about what you think about in the absolute long term. Works. I mean, it wants to make another pop here. Remember, we shorted at 428 off the 440. Every time it's popped up, we've basically been shorting it the whole way. Got it on the way back down here at 22s. Then scalps them out in front of 4 even. That's at 407. I got bids at 403 again. I'll throw one at I had one at 398 that filled last time, so let's do the same thing here. Sort of rinsing and repeating, but it's still, and I talked about this before, like as much as this is working, because I turned bearish from the failed up halt and then potential breakout, it's still kind of putting in higher lows. So you got to be careful. Like each time I short, it's at a kind of a higher price. Like I don't want to be catching it lower until it actually makes a real turn. That would be off of that 440 level, so the halt price is the only thing that's going to stand out for me. It's basically smooth sailing on Moxie. This is why, and apologies, whoever pointed out Moxie, big thank you, of course, always. You guys are the best, and you guys know we've been looking at that stock every time. There's a big offer there, so the offer might have been at 9, but anyways, it did move to 888. I shorted 75s, got a bunch out in the 50s, and got a bunch out here around VWAP at 35. I'll probably throw some more bids down in front of the low of the day, which is $8 even to the penny, so probably from like 805 to 815. So Moxie working, Robinhood not, but it's still below that 58 level. So I did reload on Robinhood, but kind of got to give up the ghost at some point. I mean, we're flat in the market, but I thought Robinhood would have a bigger a bigger range than it has already had. This works is starting to make that run at that 440 level, so that's going to be the key one. See, these crazy dark pool wicks, man. So the 440 is going to be that key level. It hasn't actually really traded up here. Just had one crazy wick to that price. If it rolls over again, I would add. If it busts through, I am out.
So we did, yeah, I mean, I'm doing the same kind of thing here with some of these trades. We are now 50 cents in the money on this Facebook trade, but we've averaged out of a little bit of that one. And then right now we did start a new position on Palantir, very, very light. I have an order for many more shares. You'll see my average price change quite dramatically when we get up to this into the 90s here. So we'll play it. I mean, I'm not going to average into this anymore. We're already short at 83 here. I've talked about this as a sketchy position right now to be short into a name that looks like this. So we'll wait for it. But again, remember earnings this week, and this is just a big run up. I think people are just trying to get in before earnings. So maybe there's something here, which is fine. We're already long. And then if you look at the daily chart, this is exactly the setup. I mean, I just talked about it with Tyson Foods, right? So they break this, on earnings, then we probably trade somewhere here like 26, 27 and look for that next little cluster, right? So when you go over to Tyson Foods, it's the exact same thing. You break out here and now you're going to be trading up in here somewhere, which is not far off, right? And so I think these are little things that you have to try to understand and trade with as we go, guys. So Tyson Foods, a nice little bounce back today, looking for something very, very similar here on Palantir on earnings. But again, earnings still a little ways away, so I'm not super concerned right now with earnings. But this is a nice move up, so let's fade it a little bit, and then we're going to use 23 as our out. Facebook doing nothing, and then DraftKings, man, honestly, it's not doing anything today except for going down, and now we're barcoding. So a long break through 52.30, we've talked about that, and we'll see what happens at 51.50, but that's the trade for me for right now. It's Brendan over at the big screen with Small Cap Recap.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning in small cap land. A lot of them, though, it's worth mentioning, crypto related. So a lot of the little ones that were popping up this morning, you kind of have to keep your eye on Bitcoin. This one, obviously, one of those. Bitcoin just making a fresh day high, which kind of led to this move back into 580, 585, which was a couple of resistance points in the pre-market. So lots of volume, lots of liquidity on this but just keep in mind it is pretty heavily tied to crypto. It would appear at this point, the top end 630 there, but still kind of grinding sideways overall, but did give you a nice move back to the downside for ANY. Let's go over one more here and talk, that's not it. It's one of those days, guys. Technical issues all over the place, but I'll come back with the other ones that we were looking at this morning.
Thank you, of course, Brendan. And of Works, one of the other ones that I'm looking at, obviously, made another test. We said if it rolled over 440, which it just barely did at 38s, 39s. I didn't get any more shares till 29. I got some out here at 16 because each time I'm basically getting out at a higher price. This is put up or shut up because each time it's been testing higher. This is at 25, that's at 32, and then this time right at that 440 level. So it doesn't make the push all the way into the bottom. You can see all the bids that I have down there. So if it slides down, I'll kind of get out automatically. I was also in that ANY. And like I said, we're basically going to short this pop in at 9:30. It got to 587, and I was sitting here at my first offer at 89, then another one at 95. So I didn't get it at 9:30 for the better trade. I know Brennan had it, so congrats. It did work to VWAP. If it breaks 550 now, I'd probably hold the rest till at least a 520 level and try and rinse and repeat. Coinbase, this has been the good one. It just retook the high of the day at 277. I'm looking at actually have an offer here between 280 and 285, which of course, when we went over this on the daily chart, that was a big level. So it still has some room to run to the upside. I did miss the dip buy the second time through, but we're gonna let this one ride and send you guys back to Brendan.
I just want to mention this WINT because I talked about it right before the open, guys. The other one, this WINT Therapeutics, to the downside as well. There was 100,000 shares showed up on the bid just immediately after the open. Immediately filled the entire order. You can see the volume spike there, and this thing got flushed. So it did play a little bit of a game there at the open, but eventually finds its way to the downside. Just about to make a day low here. That was that WINT as well.
Thank you, WIT. Yeah, good. You guys are talking about that barcoding like crazy. Thank God, bang, there it is. Bang, 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 bang. Oh, yeah, we made this from before. Thank you to Valeria for suggesting this a while ago. So we'll go bang right there as we don't have, this is from this is years and years old. So by years old, I mean probably about a month. Okay, so there's Robinhood, nicely averaged in there. We talked about that into this level. So now we'll take it out. I mean, why not? 50 cents now in the money on Robinhood. So that's a good one. And then guess what else, man? Here we go. I told you what the seriousness would be on that one. So there goes Robinhood, or sorry, Palantir now, guys. I told you what we would do to this, man. I said that as soon as you get up here, you're going to see a bigger order come through. So now we're nicely in the money on Palantir. And let's just keep on cashing in, man. 84, 85, 86 is all out there. Now it's starting to rip back up. But we did tank down to 80 there. So good trade there. I told you that even though you love a stock, you got to trade the price action. So Palantir, a nice move upside. We cashed out of about, I was going to say a third, a little bit more than a third on that dip back down to 85 there. So that was a good cash out. Should have took more out. So we put some more bids low 80s, guys. But that's a nice little win for me on Palantir. Even though it's only a dime or a little bit less than a dime, it's 8 cents. We'll still take it, man. We were not expecting this.
Everyone's saying what's going on with AMD. It's going up. This volume is pretty impressive in terms of its, oh, you guys can't see. It's pretty impressive in terms of its consistency. I'll be able to show you here. Yeah, there was a spike on this 110 break, but it's pretty much holding up in terms of the amount of volume that it's churning through. And of course, I gotta get that back out of the way so I can see my chart properly. But yeah, there was this, what looked like, I'm gonna kick myself because if you rewind the tape, I was saying, yeah, this will stand out. 109.60 looked like the bottom, but I then looked back and said, yeah, but 107.20, which you go back to here, here, and here, there's definite support. So inside that range is a support range. Yeah, what's the point of saying a support range if you don't buy in that support range anyways? Now we're breaking out past that 112 where the players dwell. At least we're almost there. We did get to quarters just a second ago, but 112, that needs to hold up. If you're looking to buy the dip, it's got to be down and back around this like 10 level if it'll give it to you. But, oh, this is why you got to pay attention in the morning. I mean, AMD, it should have been in it for me. Very rarely do I even mention the stock, and I was saying that exact price range and then did not buy the dip. Should have done it. Shouldn't have been over in DraftKings. What a waste. Brendo.
Another vaccine-related name, Inovio Pharmaceuticals, INO, a throwback to the beginning of the pandemic, just making a day high here, 5% now. They got approval for 2 new trials for their COVID-19 vaccine over in China, guys, for INO.
I just want to say what's up to Internet Enforcers here. But we do have, so there it is, a nice little win again, man. We just took a 57.10 there on Robinhood, guys. We're short 57.80, so that's another 50 cents. And I'm trying to be a man of the people here. It'd be help if I put the watermark on the chart, but it's up here. So if you ever look there, I'm trying to keep the name. We don't have watermarks on these charts, so I am keeping it right here. So if you ever took the top left, I mean, I could move it into the middle if that helps. I just figure that sometimes when we blow up the charts and whatnot, it just makes more sense if it is there. So let me know, but I think that is probably what you're talking about a little bit there. Okay, we did put a bid down 82 and we took that one, so bang, another 10 cents there. Same trade, it's just we're taking it out. So that's gonna be a good one here. And then Facebook, as you could see, sorry, not Facebook. Facebook now, 50 cents still in the money. I'm debating taking this out as it's bouncing around. I do have an offer right here in the 70s up here to take this level out. We'll see if it can travel. So maybe it does. Here it comes right now. That's gonna be a good one. And then there goes Robinhood looking to break 57. We're hella short, man. Big time trading for me today. Long, and these are all shorts and these are all out. So good trade for me me today on this name, and I think we got to take another piece out here as we're breaking back down below 57. We got another one, bang! Another one for Robinhood here, guys, today. Even though the spread is 20 cents, just sit on the bid. Sometimes you can get these lucky fills.
Yeah, and look, every now and then you're just going to get what's a relatively easy trade for us day traders with direct market access, and that's going to be that MOXC. We're now down. It just hit 825 and then broke through, got down to 815 or so. So remember, the entire reason I'm short here at 874, so 873, is there was size at 888. Somebody mentioned in the chat they saw that same big size. We saw a couple of weeks ago starting someone just selling a bunch of shares of the stock. And then we dropped in front of it. If it was at 9 before, fair enough, but it got pulled down to 888, random price. We're just sitting on the offer, 500,000 shares. I got some out in this cluster for the first 30 cents, the second cluster here around VWAP, and then the low of the day sits at $8, and that's where we want to try to take the rest out. I still have any, but it is barcoding at 550. So if it breaks 550, I think we can probably consider that we're going to get that 525 level. I will not add to this position unless we're in this bottom range below VWAP, and then, or maybe testing back up to that 6 area. That would be another way we get back into it. And then works. You're going to see this again, like it gives you like one little fill down here below VWAP at 415 area. I got bids all the way down, and then it can't seem to do anything but retest at 440. So if it breaks 440, I'm out, and then hunting back for, remember in the daily chart, we're just pointing it out here. If it gets back up to 480, that will be the next level I'd even consider. It still has room to slide back down here and give us the exit that we would like, but you can't fight the trend too long. At some point, you have to give up the ghost. That's Works and Coinbase, like I mentioned. I mean, I could have taken this out when it reversed at 278 back into 77, but at this point, if it broke VWAP, I'd still make a couple of bucks. I was looking to buy the dip at some point and continue to play this to the long side for a little bit more. I did miss the chance here around that 272 mark, so I am going to back off. You sort of allow it to come down. If it tests that 72 or maybe catch it on the way back up here, I wouldn't buy it back at 270. That would be too steep of a pullback here on Coinbase. So I am still being very, very patient with this name, but might have missed the opportunity to add to this position. I'm still giving it to that 280 to 285 range. However, I still think it has a chance. If it breaks higher from here, I think we do get that test of 280.
Yeah, and we just took out a nice little banger there on Facebook, so we'll hit bang for that one as well, as it's looking like a nice win there. It's still going, so whether or not we go up from here, I'm not sure, but it looks like a good one here for us on Facebook, man. Long right now, 361.71, and that's just 79, sorry, and that's just like trading our book, like trying to look at stocks that we know are strong, that we've been watching out for, and then when you had this dip, I mean that was the whole signal, was right there for me, man. When that broke, that was like giddy up for me, straight to the upside there. When it came back down, that's where we liked it. Nice little profit. We didn't get it all out. Average in, and now we're nicely in the money, $1 now on Facebook. So hopefully that one can continue to make us a little bit of money on the upside, hopefully. And then on the downside, we missed that though. Robinhood one more time, guys, went to 85 there, so we have to pay a little more attention to that name and probably get some of that out here on Robinhood the next time. So I do have a bid upside right now on downside on Robinhood. This is a nice trade for us. We're in the money 67 pennies now, so maybe we can take out another spot here, but I do have lower bids on Robinhood, hoping that we can just get some 50. I mean, I'm bidding like 56.93. I mean, that's not too far off. So another little bit of a dip down, we can get that bid. But I am debating just taking one more piece off and then averaging in again if we can get some 58 love here. But look at the market, man. Facebook going $1 now in the money, guys. Brendan, what's up?
Candy, guys, KNDI, we talked about it last week as well, end of the week. Earnings this morning, overnight actually, over in China, but day highs here for KNDI after beating estimates for their delivery numbers, including their both top and line numbers as well. It's 10:30. Let's get a quick check on what's happening over in Europe. Miss V's watching what's going on over there. What's up, V?
Hey, Brendan, European markets are mixed. Delivery company Deliveroo trading in London is up more than 5% after Germany's Delivery Hero took a 5.09% stake in the company. Back to you.
Yeah, as we said, kind of getting to the end of earnings reporting season, but still few to get through, guys.
Apparently Carver's on the move, but I got to get over to, of course, remember I said I stop was at 440, so that's my stop getting run. That's me getting out at the top wick on Works. I'm not going to get back into this one unless, like I said, we're testing that 480 level. Current high is at 465, so you maybe give it that 15 cents worth of range if it gets up there, or it has to hold below VWAP, which has not happened just yet. Coinbase, on the other hand, is continuing to make a break, so like I said, to be a little bit more patient. Like the dips just don't come as far as I was looking for to be able to catch some more shares, but you can see me on the offer here above that 280, which is being tested right now. So Coinbase right at that 280 mark. If it tries to blow through it, of course, I'm going to use that momentum likely to get out. If it does pull back, I mean, I'm not saying it's an automatic trail at 275, but if it breaks back below 275, I'll probably just try to lock in like that $4 to $5. I still think it has a chance to give you over that 10. And we're being very, very patient with this name because we think it can run. AMC, by the way, before we go back over to Sean, AMC, this is like 1, 2, 3 times at 34, and that's failed breaks. It's gotten to like the 34.13 mark, but still putting in higher lows, at least for now. If it consolidates above VWAP, you could have a breakout potentially on AMC, but remember, even if it breaks this, you got that 35, which was all kinds of resistance if you go into last week's action.
Yeah, we are going to cash out a little bit more here on Palantir as it comes into the 82 area there. Sorry, 83s. We just took out some bids. Here it comes now. We took out some more bids there. And again, this is just how I'm trading it. I can't hit any animations. But we did talk about putting an order on if it did get into the 90s, and we're lucky enough to get 92 short there, which is the high of the day. And that's just luck because I was sitting there. Sometimes I'll complain about not grabbing the best fills, but right there, we just happened to put an order there. It was a paid gateway, so we had to pay to get this short, kind of like a dark pool kind of fill there if you're familiar with when we talk about that. But right there, a nice move backside there on PLTR. So we'll see if it can fade back in a little bit. I think this is just some earnings love. We talked about them this week. So people getting in a little bit early here it would be my guess. We did see, and just so you guys remember, Palantir on earnings, this was last earnings time, man. We went all the way down to 1630, and it was a 25% move right back to the upside there. So we hit 1650 that day, and then we closed that day at 2050 or so, or 2015. So $4 back on that earning day. So again, I think Palantir's setting up right now to break. Like it breaks either way, right? I mean, if they miss, then you break this consolidation and we hit that 21, and then we probably wind up down here again. And the same thing for the upside. You break that, and I think that we can get probably 25, 26. So I do like Palantir for the rest of the week. So giddy up on that one. Facebook, still that dollar in the money. We probably gonna take it out. Let's check out NIO here again, because that was a mover this morning, but we didn't buy the dip again on NIO. So a nice move down, but not crazy. We did have lower bids at 43. We talked about that in the pre-market, just never hit us, and then all the way to 45 now. Looking like it may want to break back down below. Watch out for NIO breaking through 44.50, but I do want to check out Alibaba and see how some of these Chinese names are doing. And I know you've been talking about AMD, but a nice move back to 112 right now.
Yeah, I mean, you dropped a bit of a reference. I hope somebody...
I mean, if they didn't get that, I mean, I'm not going to keep saying it over and over.
If you guys didn't get that reference, then I don't know. I mean, 112, come on, they're pretty good. I think some people...
It is where the players dwell.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's not a Google, if you can't Google that, then...
I don't know what to say. But that being said, I mean, you look at these key levels, and we try to go back to them, because if you go to Friday, this is 112 half, this is 112 half, this is 112 and like 33. It's still barcoding up here. So, I mean, there's a chance that it still breaks out from here. But I mean, for those of you that I think somebody was talking about maybe shorting off that level. Yeah, that makes some sense. I tend to not love shorting an AMD, but the logic is there for me. I did put this into the chat. Look, if Coinbase goes, I said 280 to 285, right? So if Coinbase were to make another run and then right on a dime 280 holds again, because this is a 280 top and it's like 280.00. Like there's an offer at 280 that hasn't been broken. If it doesn't break this offer now that it's testing it, I'll probably try to catch this one out here at like a 278, lock in that $8 or maybe $7.50 or whatever it turns into. You can't look a gift horse in the mouth. I'd be doing the thing like the big horse would be going into your face right now. You can't look a gift horse in the mouth. Been trying to hang on to some of these a little bit longer, especially the ones on the higher time frame that make sense to hold on to. And if anything, you know, kind of misreading this one and not waiting for like 73, 74 for that first out, which would have made a heck of a lot more sense, has already been a mistake in Coinbase. So here it is. It's at 280. It just turned at 280 again. So I'm going to move my trail probably to that 278 mark. If it stops me out, fair enough. There's probably still like a scalp trade off at 280 that might get that extra $2 anyways.
Okay. Yeah, just try to find some new names. If there's anything you guys want us to cover in the chat, let us know. But here we go, Hood. Let's go, you little rat, to the downside now. We'll see. Here we go. We do have some bids out, but they're a lot lower. I mean, here comes a nice break, man. $1. We have back-to-back jacks now. Hood $1 in the money. Facebook $1 in the money. Let's see. I'm still waiting for this break, man. I'm embarrassingly low right now. 56.20. We're trying to make a big home run here on this name, Robinhood. It's going to do it again. Is it going to bounce off that exact same level one more time to the downside? We'll see if it does, man. 56.20. Just hoping that gives it up, and then we can hit it down lower here on Robinhood. So I'm just trying to hold out. Like my gut, like right now, I mean, if I'm looking at a chart, which I am, this tells me to get out, because how many times have we bounced right here? I've left money on the table like here, kind of, we just did it. And then right there, 56.80 as well. That's a good price. Remember, like this is already 15 cents there on the spread, right? So all these prints, a lot of them coming in between. So just because, you know, you're seeing this bid doesn't mean you can get it. You kind of have to play in between there. So that's just a little bit of a worry spot for me. Yeah, damn it. I was just hoping it would break, man. And if we do break through that 56.50, then I'm willing to hold this for a home run. So let's see if that can come through on Robinhood.
Yeah, and like I just got trailed out of Coinbase. So if it turns out that that's going to be it, and now it's going to break 280, then pie in my face. But we'll take the 750 and run on the second half of that trade. Works. And look, this is going to be kind of my fault. Well, obviously every trade is going to be my own fault. But 465 was the previous high, and then I pointed out that 480 level. I was waiting for that range. It just barely gets into there. By 4 pennies or so, it breaks at 65, and then immediate harsh reversal. So obviously I'm staring at 480 on my level 2, just seeing if it actually moves into that level. I'll try and short it. I probably would have had something in 65 range if I was faster, but I'm not chasing it all the way down to the 50s here. This is the reason we got out at 440, because why to sit there and average in or hold all the way into like an extra 30 cents. I think that makes no sense, but either way, I did not get this short off of that 480 because it only got to 470. We'll see. I mean, I can back off of this one. If it has double topped, what I would anticipate would happen is that it consolidates at 430 to 440, and then I can maybe get back in on a break of that range at that same 420 to 425 level that I like. So there's other ways to get into this one again, even if I just miss that double top. Sometimes patience is a virtue, and patience, the other side of that, like if you're trying to be patient and really, really disciplined with a level, missing the trade is kind of part of it. So we kind of missed out on that trade, and now Coinbase is headed back towards that 280 level, so might have given up some. AMC, by the way, looking like it's heading back down in towards VWAP. This is only interesting for me if we break back through the top, so I want to see it bounce here, hopefully, and then make a run through that 34.15 up to that big 35 level. That hasn't happened yet, but AMC's on the radar. You know, it is reporting, and there is some movement. It's up 2%, and it has made a couple of $1.50 moves, but I think the bigger story might be when we come back at 3 o'clock. And by the way, the afternoon show is now 3 o'clock. For those of you that don't know, AMC likely to be in play just because they do report earnings. And oops, I don't think we've mentioned it. Maybe we have. We have our Q&A today, so stick around.
What?
Right after 11 o'clock, we got the Q&A today.
All right, Facebook all the way to the upside right now, 363.40, 363.50, still trying to go upside right now. We'll see where we go from here, but I don't know. I mean, I had an offer there and I canceled it because honestly, man, I mean, I think this has to go higher. NASDAQ now positive. This is the best name for me in the NASDAQ 100 is Facebook. So I'm going to try to hold this one as much as we can, looking for that big monster winner right now on Facebook, starting to head northbound here. So good trading so far for me. My number one stock today, although Robinhood's, reminding me about them because it's also up there for a big stock for me. And then right now, DraftKings, unfortunately, just looks like it wants to take out these bottoms. So 51 break, we're going to be gone on DraftKings. This name's really been boring today, and I apologize just holding it all day. I mean, it was a big hit, not a big hit, but a hit early, a decent hit. And then now we're just waiting for this level. Doesn't look like it wants to come. But right now, over on the backside there, Brendan, wow. The board not looking too nice today, although the markets aren't horrible. Let's have a look at these sectors with Sector Watch and Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, let's jump right into the overall market here. We are in negative territory, but only just 0.14%. Kind of looks a little bit worse than it actually is, I would feel. Moderna here, worth noting, talked about it a couple of times there, 6.8% to the upside, leading the way as far as pharmaceuticals are concerned. Eli Lilly, a notable name, Biogen here as well, 1.8 to 2.8 to the upside. So some of the healthcare stocks helping to offset weakness in energy, tech, and the industrial group here. But energy stocks, we saw almost 4% in the pre-market there on some OPEC worries for oil itself. So those numbers kind of translating through to the individual stocks, 3 to 4%, 4.5% even to the downside today for energy stocks. Over here, some of the travel names getting hit today as well. Cruise lines all about 4% negative territory, 3.5% for Wynn there, Marriott, MGM, LVS, 2.7, kind of faring the best actually, Las Vegas Sands. Down here, wanted to note GM, 2.7%. Offset by Tesla, 2% to the upside. So automotive names not doing a heck of a lot. Big mover last week, Etsy, 2%. Back to the upside once again today. Here's the airlines, 4% negative territory right across the board. GE under pressure today, 2.26. Power there as well, PWR, 1.8% to the downside. So industrials, consumer discretionary shares in the energy sector offsetting what little strength we have on this side of the board. Really coming from Moderna, Eli Lilly. That's TSN, Tyson Food we mentioned. Better than expected earnings out before the bell this morning. BLL over there in the materials group. Another earnings name back to the upside as well. But overall negative territory, just 0.13 for the S&P. Back over to you.
So, of course, Coinbase. I'd be able to hit the red and goat if I was still in Coinbase. It heads to 281 now. You just new position alert. I am in Moderna now. Off of it actually goes to 450 even. Starts to roll over. I mean, it was clustering a little bit at that 480, 448 mark. This will be like a one shot and done kind of thing. I got basically 448. It's 447.86. Same thing. 448. If it breaks 450, I'm out. If it just gets down into this 440 to 445 cluster, I'll take some shares out there, look for the rest around VWAP. And then, of course, if I'm in this, well, I mean, it doesn't mean I can't be in Works, but at the same time, Works did spike to that 480 and then pull right back. So this is the test that I was waiting for. Yeah, I can trade both at the same time. It's not the end of the world. And he's not doing anything. And he's not doing anything. Wow, that's terrible. And Moxie is about to get the last of my shares out at 810. So I want to draw my attention. That 480 level we talked about on Works, that's where the pullback is. It, for now, is trying to break down here. It spikes up to 488. Sometimes you want to catch it on the way down as opposed to on the way up. Oh, don't chase it too far. Don't chase it too far. I'm not going to chase it any further than maybe like the mid 460 range, guys, is probably where I'll go. So if I can catch 64s or 65s, that'll be fair, but I'm not going to chase this forever. I just want to see if I can get this on the offer. Current high of the day would be the next out. So new position, of course, that Moderna, that's easy. That's 450 is your out. A little more nuanced if we can actually get Works, which of course it seems like I can't. So thank you very much for this one running away from me here. I did want to see it fail off of that 480, so it breaks, gets up about 8 pennies or so, can't get to that 90, can't get to 5, and then pulls right back in into the downside. Looks like I should have had this one instead of Moderna, which is still screaming towards that 450, but that's an easy one. If it breaks 450, you're just out. Whereas Works here, it's a little bit more nuanced, like I said. So I'm trying to get this consolidation on Works. If I get it, great. AMC's doing absolutely nothing. And Moxie seems like it's going to be a relatively easy relatively easy trade. And if you're tuning in late, Moxie is a simple trade. It is size on offer, go short. If size breaks, get out. And get out not on a stop order, get out literally hitting that offer that was at $8.88. I have one less bid sitting at $8.10 after it made a bottom at $8. It either fills me and I'm out for the last 10% of this position, or I'll give it all the way back. I don't even care. Like if it comes right back to the upside, I'm assuming that offer is still going to be there and I'll just short it, get in front of it.
Okay, and just an update here. We did, and I'm glad Neil has this trade, but this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about here on the sticky note here. Coinbase, man, breakout over 260. So great. Like when you get those kind of breakouts here, and this is what I was talking about, we talked about in the pre-market, what a great trade that was. And then we identified the pre-market high of 270, and I should have a tick right there, but it happened so early. So whether or not I would have had 270 or not, who knows? But wow, great break, obviously there to the upside. I mean, I don't have to keep saying it to you because we can all see. So that's a great trade there on that upside. And then there it is, man. We only have a third left of our Palantir, and you saw that. Oh, unfortunately, it goes to 75. Did not notice that. I didn't have any bids down there. I'm surprised. Oh, 73 is my bid. Silly. Why do I even have that? Okay, so now we'll just wait to see for it to go back to the upside. I guess I can cancel some of my 2205s right now, but it looks like it's trying to take out 23. Our breaking spot is going to be 23 and change, so if it gets back above that, man, then watch out below, or watch out above, I guess, for Palantir. We're short at 92, so we're out of the money a penny right now. Now we're flat, now we're in the money. If I take a bid right here, but just watch out there as Palantir continues to make a move to the upside against us a little bit as it touches that 23 and then fades back out. And then again, man, like bang right there. So we'll say bang as it looks pretty nice, man. $1.80 now in the money. This is getting to be a spot where I think we should maybe take some of this Facebook out. It's just back to these same levels that we sort of mocked at before when we thought we were going to take out 365 again. So we've already been up here with multiple. Like we had a 362. It went in the money about $1.80 for us, and we didn't take it. So right now we're $1.80 in the money again. On Facebook. There it goes. Look at that crash. Just crashed out. So all you do is talk about it. So I'm going to put an offer right there. 360, 360, 360, 350. If we could take that out, man, let's take $1.80 on this name and run away. So Facebook right now, a good one. I don't know what this NASDAQ wants to do, and I don't really care. So let's get out right now and reward ourselves for a Facebook trade.
There you go, Facebook. I see Clover. I don't see any news on it, so it could just be like your standard squeezing to the upside on Clover here. I mean, look, it's already sort of broken out. And actually, the breakout wasn't even off an obvious level, but it did follow through past 850. Yeah, I'm kind of swallowing another Timbit there as I chew through. But it did make a push, and you go back a couple of weeks ago anyways, it did make a push towards that $10 range. On that day when it rolled over, there was an afternoon, and this is sort of like right near the end of the show anyway, so I shouldn't call it afternoon, but about 885 was a level. So as it gets up to that price, I mean, that's where it wants to turn. Again, on the way up to that $10 range, there was a pullback the day before, right into that same 880 level, and that looks like where it's kind of turning into. So, I mean, like this is kind of a pullback which makes sense at 880. If there's anything to this, it's probably got to hold up 45 to 50. I'll take the bull side of it just because fighting this stock usually ends up poorly, but I don't see any actual news. But because of the nice barcoding it had here before breaking out, let's see if there's some support down at that 840 to 845 range and maybe buy the dip in front of that Clover. But I don't see any reason for this other than a potential squeeze. We do know the short interest tends to be relatively high on this. And like I mentioned on Moderna, it was going to be, come on Moderna. It was going to be pretty binary for me. We took that off 448, it breaks 450, so I'm out. And then the one that we didn't chase is going to be Works. Yeah, that would have worked. But I'll go ahead and cancel this. I mean, there's no point. And we try to get that in the consolidation down. If you want it on the way down instead of the way up, the risk, of course, is that you don't get the trade at all. If it comes up here again, I would need to see it once again fail at 480 and then try to get the short that way. It's a very bullish stock. We did have one long that was holding it in the halt. That didn't work when we held the halt trade. We then took a break to the upside that worked halfway, and then, of course, the other didn't. Then we started shorting it, which was great, up until this break of 440. It probably looks like a $5 even is your next level here. Maybe not even that 480 anymore. So between 480 to 5 would be the next target entry point for any kind of a short trade for me at least. And then Clover, forget about 845. It actually just bounced off at 860. So still looking pretty bullish on Clove.
Yeah, Clover. Okay, I mean, I'm just chilling out. So we did get some out, so that's a win. We did get, I mean, now we're holding a very, very small piece, but we are still holding some on Facebook. So, but there's that out that we talked about, and there it goes crashing back down. So I feel like that's a win for us on that name. So we'll celebrate it and be happy with that. We still have some, though, just in case. And then here comes Robinhood, man. It did break that 56.50, and I'm at 56.21. So sometimes we get lucky and sometimes we miss by 8 cents. So it goes to 56.29 there, or 56.30, and then stops. So I think now 56.50, probably a decent out. I'm going to bump that target one more time to the upside rate, or to the back to the downside, 56.50, just ahead of that on Hood. In case we get another dump down, we do want to make sure that we're out of a piece with only 10 minutes to go. So far, so good. Palantir, man, lucky, comes all the way back in. I mean, lucky or not, it does come all the way back in. So want to celebrate a little bit of that trade and get some out now. Would have been a great average down there, or up, I guess, into 23, but we were just nervous. It's so strong, and we didn't make that play. So no real worry here, but Palantir now right back in, man. Yes, sir, we'll hit a bang for that hold. Sometimes you don't wait for exactly, I mean, it didn't break 23, but we were waiting for about 23.05. So a good hold there on Palantir. Let's get some more out, man, because reward ourselves for holding at least.
Absolutely. You got to reward yourself, pay yourself first. One that we haven't talked about here, but has been moving, and look, the last couple of sessions, obviously it's moved a heck of a lot more than this, but Cassava Sciences is up almost 10%, up 8% on the day. If you do not remember, we did have that ridiculous like triple top, like 145, actually got to almost 150, and then got cut in half. It's kind of coming all the way back, but there is some attention to these levels as we get back up to about like 106 half or so, which we're very, very close to. This was a big failure, and then it kind of dipped down before making that run to 150. It's a ridiculously violent stock, so think about moving in $5, $10 ranges if this does break out, which it seems like it's trying to do here, but this was a big cluster that it's trying to get through. So that the reason I pointed out that 106.50, because I'm getting long-winded here, is I think it's a fade off of that level. So if it breaks back up here and tries to take out this high, I'd be shorting the top on Sava, but only to that 106.50 area. If it breaks that, I'd give up the ghost and maybe look back. I mean, this could be at like 120 to 125 in a hurry. The stock is very, very violent, but it has been a big fade if you've caught the right levels. I'm looking at the last time it did something like this. So I'd look to see if it rolls over here. 106.50 would be my out, but not getting in. Kind of jumped in probably too early on Moderna. Don't want to make the same mistake with Sava. Brendan, already time for Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Let's jump into what is happening today. All about the cryptos. Bottom end of the board here, you can see 6 to 8%. Through those three anyways, it's actually Ripple leading the way as far as those are concerned. Ethereum, wanted to point out, got to 3,200 yesterday, topped out at 3,200. We're back above 3,100 after starting the day just below it. So 6.8% here you can see for Ethereum. Bitcoin, yeah, 45,500, up 6.6% on the day so far as well. So really nice moves over the past week or so for cryptocurrencies. Everything else top end of the board here, pretty weak. We had a bit of a bounce in the overall dollar once again after the jobs report on Friday. So a few things in negative territory you can see, but not huge moves. The Swiss franc 0.5%. You can see the pound 0.2 to the downside, about the same for the CAD and the euro, guys. But everyone focusing anyways on cryptos, obviously, guys. Back to you.
Yes, they are. And this time I can say it. Brendan Goat would be like, bah, bah. Like, you know how you guys know how it goes, whatever. That's my poor attempt at doing it. Out of that Moxie trade, we talk about it being the best community in the world. And every time I miss Moxie, someone says offer on Moxie. I look at it, I see it, and then we just go in front of that offer. It did work kind of a little bit when there was a bid on Moxie, although when the bid broke, there we go. Thank you guys. Production team. By the way, you guys didn't see like Rob, like before the show, this guy was trying to make these animations work for like a half an hour straight. So he's putting in that work anyways. We're gonna get them back for you guys. We know it's a lot of fun. These guys don't stop. Moxie, there was a bid before that was pretty solid, but I can tell you it's the short side of the trade that you want to be on. That's why we jumped at it here today. And it's nothing to do with like the trend down, although it does help to trade. It was an offer at 888. I jumped in front of it at 873. Risking 15 pennies, not more, because I would have gotten out if 88 broke. And then the low of the day was already sitting at $8, so we hang on to some shares to get out in front of $8. Pretty simple idea there. The only thing we have left on, of course, I mean that any trade, still barcoding. I got it twice, a pre-market fine, and then you guys saw live when my stop got run pre-market. I tried to get back in, at least I was offering to get back in at 9:30 for that little rollover, then spiked up again here at 10 o'clock. It's still barcoding. I think the ad would have to be if it breaks the bottom here as opposed to at least test the bottom, and then we can start playing the lower end of the range, but not doing a heck of a lot. No reason to get out, but not also giving me a lot of reason to get back into some more shares of this one. If you want to go back over to that Works we talked about, I'm not chasing Works. Like I said, I mean, I could have, if I was chasing it, I'd be short down here at 450 and out of the money. It's too bullish to do that. I think it's going to make a test here. It looks like it's going to make a test here anyways to that 480 to 5 even level. I wouldn't take a long. Personally, I'm looking for a rollover in that range and then use 5 as my out. That's the next trade for me on Works. In the 43% club, and the one that we sort of not forgot about. So, I mean, look, obviously we're going to get exactly what we would have wanted on Coinbase. That entire time, you did see me sitting up at 280, 250. And when I put that range of 280 to 285 as my out, this would be 285 here. This would be essentially the bottom end of this wick here is about that 280 level. So again, you put the offer in the middle of that range and it looks like it would have hit. But when we tested 280 on a dime once, and then tested 280 twice. He said, I'm going to put a trailing stop in there. I do get stopped out. Probably should have given it past like 277.50. That's something I can change in the past. An extra 50 cents would have given me that upside target, but it did turn around, right? So the price that we picked, the range we picked, goes right up into the middle where Arthur was sitting all morning long, and then it turns around. So we're kind of calling it right. Just got to figure a better way to execute that trailing stop, obviously. That's a learning process for me. It's not something I've been using until maybe the last like 6 to 8 months anyway. So we'll get better at it for sure. Coinbase, a good one. Certainly could have been a little bit better if we'd managed to hold on to that original target up at 282.5.
And guys, multiple bang time right here as well as Palantir. Like, what a great, there we go. See, I moved that for you there, internet sensation, or whatever your name was. Okay, beautiful outs, man. I mean, and it is kind of a pat on the back. Like, we did talk about it coming back down to these levels, and thank God this time I actually had orders out there. So I know, Brent, you were getting out some of your trade as well, and there it is, man. I mean, just another one for me. The only negative stock that we trade all day today is going to be small on Workhorse, which is now in the money. This is a small hit, but it does come back down to VWAP, and we did get out. I feel like we're right on this one, but we did get out of it, so that's a hit there. And then DraftKings. Other than that, man, no hits today. We're going to go pretty good. I think 5-2 or so today. DraftKings right now, though. Okay, it is a negative stock for me today, so there's no doubt about that. So let's not, pretend like it ain't. But bid. We see this fall all the time. But right now, I actually put on a similar size position that I had again. So we'll see if it fails through 51 now. But I am back on this DraftKings train here, and we'll just see. Let's see what Penn is doing quickly. 71. Okay, so they were at about 62 or 63 on their earnings, and now they're starting to come back up a little bit. You saw Penn here with a dip down. Like I said, that day was nasty. On Friday, we can actually look at Penn's day on Friday. Very, very similar to DraftKings, where we started up, like I was saying, 74, 75, and then break down basically, and not basically, that 10%, same as DraftKings. And then it rebounded the rest of the day. So let's see if we can get some love for DraftKings as well, doing very, very similar, hopefully similar things, where we had this move down and now we can get back up. However, taking its sweet time to make that move, so I'm not in love with it. We did cash out some. Now we are holding small on Facebook. Yeah, bang, there it is, nice one. And then after that, man, everything else is all gravy. We did take some hood out there. We learned our lesson. We waited for 20s. We missed it by 10 cents, and then we take a 67. So let's hold a small piece of hood here and see you guys back at 3 o'clock, and we'll see if we still have this hood, because honestly, man, I'm thinking that we can come back down here to 55. It's Mr. Wiccan's neighborhood. What up?
Speaking of 3 o'clock, yes, do join us, guys, once again at 3 o'clock. We'll talk about earnings a little bit more in that hour. Obviously, as we said, we're getting towards the end of earnings reporting season, but few notable names once again aftermarket tonight before the open tomorrow.
What's that thing in the middle? People have been trading it a lot there. I don't know. Of course, AMC's there, Smile Direct. I'm going to point out, we didn't talk about Zila, Excel, whatever, I don't know. I call it Zila because that's what I do. But we're going to be looking at that, of course. It's not really moving a heck of a lot today. But obviously, look, the story today has been the Bitcoin-related names, even the equity, of course. So we'll be continuing to track that, especially if we hold up around this 46,000 high. I mean, there's still some breaks that could potentially happen. But yeah, probably should have looked at XCLA today, knowing that their earnings were coming.
Yeah, Zila, and then I also want to look at Smile Direct. I think that here's another opportunity, guys, right here. I mean, 670, 680, something like that. Like, Smile Direct has that opportunity. Now, I don't know what's going to come from them. More work needs to be done, so I don't know if it's going to break out or break lower. But if you look at this chart, man, I mean, Smile Direct left for dead, literally, right now. I think this is near its lows, which it's not off March, but down here to $4. We rallied all the way back to 15. So right now, Smile Direct at one of those pushing spots. So if there's a name that I'm looking at, it's going to be Smile Direct and then Planet Fitness as well. Because again, more news coming, obviously, with some of the reopened stocks there. Palantir coming back as well. CCL, talked about some of that with Mark. There's only 30 seconds left. That's going to be another name. Do we have a national day or no? Okay, because we're getting very, very close. We're only 30 seconds left. You guys tell me when it's ready for National Day, and we will cover that. Only 20 seconds left in the show, guys. We're running a little late today. Valeria?
Hey guys, thank you very much for starting this trading week with us. I hope you're all doing great. All the members are more than welcome to join our live Q&A right after the show. You can find the link on the live chat on our Twitter page and community pages. For others, see you at 3:00 for the afternoon show, and happy National Pudding Day, everyone.
Specifically,
Rice pudding.
Rice pudding.
Specifically
Rice.
rice pudding. My mom and my wife makes it too. Like chocolate rice pudding is like so good, and we have it regularly. Anyways, it's a pretty good treat there. It can be healthy, but you know, add some chocolate to it to make it tasty. As Miss V mentioned, of course, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, we are back at the afternoon. That's what it is permanently now. And of course, we have our members Q&A. Arun, I believe, is joining us for the members Q&A, guys. So our way to get back to you guys. And there was another earnings. 3D Systems is on there. So that's one definitely worth a watch. Of course, and Kathy involved in this name as well. For the entire team right down the line, for Miss V, for Brendan Wickens, myself, Neil Robertson, Sean Katina, and of course our crew working really hard, including IT this morning. They did a fantastic job. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you at the close.